From the fight capital of the world, where Ultimate Fighting Championship takes place, we go underground in NXT with two former MMA fighters, and we cross the line and possibly plan a takeover with TNA talent and egos colliding. And a brand new women's champion will be crowned inaugurally for the first time in a ladder match, and that is not to be disputed. This and so much more as we discuss this groundbreaking professional wrestling show that's ahead this Sunday. As NXT brings us from the city of sin, the fight capital world, BattleGround, Las Vegas, from the UFC Apex. Let's freaking go, folks. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to another edition of Simply Predicting, the first time ever that you could call it NXT NA. Maybe something to come following. Only time will tell. I am, of course, the Simple Man, the Simple Brand, the voice of J-Man forever, great professional wrestling. Damn it. And my name is Noah Foster with my wonderful friends, the Simply Predicting community. I, of course, have the man that predicts all things, Christopher Roth, my color analyst in all things WWE, and this is his brand, damn it. But also, he's crossing over into my brand, so me and him might butt heads. The Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams, and of course, the MVPs, the VIPs, the Dominguezes, the wonderful siblings, multiverse of media, Arlene and Emmanuel. Shout out to everybody out there in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, comment, and tell a friend, and know that your opinions matter too. We'd love to get your comments as well, your predictions. And if you want to dictate the conversation, don't dictate at Casting Studios, Super Chats, as simple as that. The forum will be live once the stream concludes. But without further ado, let's get everybody's initial thought before we dive right into this fun card of 6 matches. So it wins primary, though. Been trying to add some kickoff nonsense this weekend, too. Social media. Bleh. But I digress. Chris, good to see you once again. Also, to those that don't know, he recently celebrated a birthday, so happy late birthday, my friend. How you feeling about NXT BattleGround Las Vegas?
I am looking forward to on this show on Sunday. It is weird saying Sunday instead of Saturday. But hey, it's going to be a great show. I'm giving this show an 8 out of 10. Looking forward to on the Roxanne Perez versus Jordynne Grace match. That match is going to be match of the night, I believe. This is going to be the first time that we're going to be in the UFC Apex on Sunday. So hopefully we get some UFC representation on Sunday with some UFC stars watching this event live in person Sunday. So I'm looking forward to it. And always say yeah to NoDQ.com. And good luck to everybody that is still competing in the NXT Prediction League for 2024.
Appreciate you always, Chris. JJ, you said it yourself during our pre-live chat. This could be bigger than your grand stage for your brand. Stand and deliver, as literally your brand is under attack. But how you feel about NXT BattleGround Las Vegas, my friend?
You know, if I'm being 100% with you, with the exception of the ladder match, I would say as of 2.5 weeks ago, this looked like it was just going to be business as usual.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then sirens went off in the Performance Center, and the juggernaut Jordynne Grace showed up, and shit got real.
Yeah.
And my interest in this show went from a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10 average card to 9, 10 out of 10. Like, oh crap.
Yep.
And then we got an attack from a man who is all ego at the end of the same show, and the hype just went even higher.
Yep.
Because at first he was portrayed as just a free agent. You had no clue where he was. I even pointed out in our private chat that he was still being announced for Prestige Wrestling against Shelton Benjamin. And that's something that TNA does. They've got a working relationship with them. Alex Shelley was their champion. Sabin was there. Grace has been there. Speedball Mike Bailey has been there. Like, so was this going to be another TNA invader? Is this a man who was just a complete free agent testing waters, and then we had the contract signed this Tuesday. Match was changed to Mike Santana versus Shelton at Prestige Wrestling. Okay. But I'm stoked for this match, for this whole show. There's every match on the show is a title match except the underground match. And even that's, a battle of pride.
Yeah, that's a title in itself, sometimes richer than gold.
Exactly. So I'm on a whole other level for this show right now. To your point, this could be bigger than Stand and Deliver. I'm just pissed I'm not going to be here to watch it live and call it with you. I'm
Dang.
so pissed about that. But to the man in the chat room, I know Walter's going to do a good job filling in for me. It's just, I'm on pins and needles about this show.
At the end of the day, you just enjoy it when you can. And as always, I like to encourage prize for passions. I know what you're doing, my friend. We got nothing but love and respect for you.
Thank
you
you.
brought this passion and encouragement to the Jordynne Motive Media in the first place for NXT, when it pretty much was nothing but a bygone name to actually pay attention quite a number of years for me. So forever, I'm grateful for you for that. But yes, he alluded to, shout out to Mr. Reliable in the chat, Walter Cruz at Razor Wrestling. Please follow the social media folks. It will be Reliable on the call this Sunday as the Jordynne Motive Media will present this show, part of our 2024 hashtag We're Gonna Die Jordynne Live Watch event schedule. So stay tuned for that and so much more this weekend, as this weekend's going to be very busy and very aggravating, at least one bit for me, but we'll talk more about that later, I'm sure. That being said, of course, we have to have instead of predicting both the Dominguez's here, because who doesn't love a good old sibling rivalry and these two wonderful faces? So let's go ahead and get their thoughts before we dive into it. Arlene, ladies first. Good to see you once again. How you feeling about NXT Battleground?
I am excited. I'm have my own theories of things, storylines. I'm already creating storylines in my head and stuff about how some of these matches are gonna probably go, hopefully. But I'm really excited, and I think, like always, me and my brother are probably gonna have different opinions on who's gonna win matches, like always. But it's what makes us interesting in this household, I guess you could say.
Hey, you coexist somehow for a reason, so there you go. Emmanuel, what's your excitement level for NXT Battleground this weekend? Good to see you once again.
I'm doing good. Yeah, I mean, like JJ said, I mean, like it was a pay-per-view that had no expectation to to a and then to a what. So it's very exciting. It's fresh out of the because I think NXT was on the funk, and now on that work they might be working with TNA. Now I'm forced to see TNA, those brilliant masterminds over there in the making me want to see TNA, what to see who's over there, what's going on, because who's to say we might not see the E wrestlers over there and be like, yeah, Joe Henry, and we'd be confused, like, who are they? Who are these people? And now we're forced to see TNA and see what the product is about. What a brilliant idea from TKO.
I have to imagine that TKO and Anthem both had to collab in this in some capacity. And you had to imagine that the building blocks of this start back in the World Rumble, where the Juggernaut first came in. But to everybody else's sentiments, I'm absolutely up there with you all. Again, NXT for me has always been the brand I used to look at more than main roster WWE. But for a period, it became worse than main roster WWE. Now that's white and gold, ran by Ava Raine and Shawn Michaels, and you have introduced TNA positively to the ecosystem. You got me on cloud 9. This is preferably a 9 out of 10 for me. I am looking extremely very forward to this card, and arguably I'm more excited for this than I am for Clash of the Castle, which hasn't even happened yet. But I kind of can already expect what's going to happen there to a degree with the way these international PLEs have kind of been, the audience carries the show, but you kind of know what the outcome's going to be as you go. But that being said, different conversation for different predicting. But Yeah, I am super excited to actually call this. I think I even said this to you, JJ. This right now, for all the shows we're doing in June, is my most anticipated show to watch and call. I can't wait for this as the first one to kick off June. So that being said, without further ado, I think that's great hype, great initial conversation, great fun. And again, I keep score as always. So here is the leaderboard for the NXT Galaxy. Joshy right now is leading, but Dwayne Atkinson, and of course, shout out to the Horsemen of predictions. Christopher Rott, Sarlene, Emmanuel, you still are doing that very well. Shout out to HW Brother Lex. Of course, I track all 40 plus you. Thank you for participating in the NXT Prediction League for 2024 as we are in event 3. Can you believe it's only the 3rd event this year for NXT? That's some crazy shit. And of course, JJ, you and I are on the NXT team in No DQ, and somehow Cass is leading. But Walter also is very close. Of course, my cohort. You gotta get some points though, bro.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that just goes to show how unpredictable NXT has been as of late, and the fact that the guy that watches religiously is towards the bottom of the leaderboard.
Weirder things have
You
happened
know,
in this business.
it's
$200 Jeopardy champion.
it's just. Go ahead, Arlene. I see your hand up.
I was just gonna say, in your face, man. I'm at top. I've never been good at predicting. Right now, but I'm at top. In your face.
Okay, well, clearly the civic robbery is definitely underway in NXT. Yes, our lead is beating Emmanuel. Let the record show.
And
All
Chris,
right.
for that matter.
Yeah, but
And he watches more NXT than I do, so I'm like I actually started watching it more now. But now that I've been doing more of the predictions, so I've been watching it now more religiously than before. Because every now and then I wouldn't even remember that it was on Tuesday, but now I'm watching it every Tuesday now. But the fact that I'm on top, woo! Sorry, I just had to celebrate because
that's what I love about freaking professional wrestling. I also want to give a shout real quick to the other company that's working here, TNA/TNAWrestling/TNA Impact. For those that don't know us, I watch that religiously every week. Happy 20th anniversary to TNA Impact, the company that you thought was not even going to see 10 is seeing 20 plus years and celebrating their weekly flagship show, TNA Impact, now their 20th anniversary. Also, I give a shout out to all the insiders like me that watch it on a weekly basis, and shout out to TNAIW, and of course, my fellow TNA correspondent, Attila. Of course, we are Lola, as Jeff Meacham has Kristen that sass, because I'm going to show the love for TNA Wrestling as much as I'm going to show the love for WXT, despite the fact this is clearly NXT. And I think without further ado, gentlemen, ladies, and predictors in and out of the chat who watch this live on demand too, appreciate all of you. Let's get right into it. So we have 6 matches coming to us this Sunday, and of course, you all can watch it on the Peacock, and it will be starting 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Sunday night. Again, this is NXT BattleGround Las Vegas, emanating from the UFC Apex, the first time ever a WWE PLE event is emanating from the Fight Capital of the World's home headquarters, the UFC Apex. We have 6 matches here. 1 goes underground. We, of course, have TNA versus NXT, way under 2 matches. And we also are going to make history. And I think that being said, JJ, you're going to kick things off as we go clockwise here, because the second leading women's brand, the Western Front, I am proud to say that now. They have earned that much respect from me in the quantity and quality. So well done, NXT. But TNA and Nagas are still number 1 for life. We are crowning a brand new inaugural, first time ever, NXT Women's North American Champion, as all 6 of these incredible athletes qualified not only through a ridiculous combine, but qualifying matches. Here is your field. And remember, folks, you each get 2 picks. A primary worth 2, and a secondary worth 1. Before I hand over to JJ, let's take a look at the field. For the NXT Women's North American Championship inaugural, that will be decided in a ladder match, the same way Adam Cole won the very first NXT North American Championship. We have Soruka, Lash Legend, Fallon Henley, Jada Parker, Meacham, and Kalani Jordynne. You have NXT Breakout Tournament participants. You have newest arrivals on the scenes. You have people that have been involved in multi-person affairs, including Iron Survivor challenges. And you also have, in case you don't know, a former TNA Knockouts World Champion, and also somebody else that's no stranger to a ladder match. For most of these women, though, it's their first time ever involved in this environment. JJ, the floor is yours. Talk about this moment and who are your two picks to make history to become the first NXT Women's North American Champion?
Man, this is honestly one of the hardest matches of the night for me to call, because, and I never thought I'd say this about Lash Legend, but every woman in this match is deserving of this title.
I have to agree.
You know, it was just a mere 8 months ago where me and you were sitting here ridiculing Metaphor and the TikTok rejects, as you like to dub them,
Still are.
Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. And in these last 6 months, man, Lash has really impressed. My initial mindset here is that with Roxanne currently, and we'll get to that later,
In the main event.
but with Roxanne currently as your reigning and defending NXT Women's Champion, a heel, I feel like we need a babyface to be North American Champion.
Got 3 and 3.
So that already eliminates 2 for sure, because Lash has kind of been a tweener. She's still running with the Metaphor, but her on-screen relationship with Trick is definitely leaning more towards babyface tendencies. So which way could she go? You know, winning this match, could she do it just to bring gold back to the Metaphor, replacing the Heritage Cup that Noam Dar lost? Or could she use this victory to be like, you know what, fuck y'all, I did this on my own. I don't need y'all no more.
Breakout moment.
So because of that, I'm making Lash my secondary pick.
All right.
My primary choice comes down to 2. The woman who says that she's going to snatch 5 souls, and the woman who I feel, much like Wes Lee did for the men's North American title, is going to solidify this championship as a workhorse championship, defended against all comers. And that's why I'm going to go with Kehlani Jordynne as my primary pick.
Wow.
There's a slight bit of doubt if we had a third choice, and I know we don't, but there's a slight something in my head saying, don't sleep on Mia Yim, though, as her hubby was a huge North American champion in your NXT.
That's right.
And her 2 sweet boys could be walking out with the NXT tag titles. What if her and the Good Brothers can sweep now that they've distanced themselves from AJ Styles? So there's that little nugget that's going on in the back of my head that I'll just kind of drop here for the chat room and for everyone else to counterpoint and think about as they make their picks. But lock it in. Adam Pearce official, Kehlani Jordynne, Lash Legend for me.
You got it, brother. All right. So JJ has set the pace with Kehlani Jordynne. Of course, came onto the NXT scene out of the most recent women's breakout tourney. And Lash Legend, who of course broke out also in a breakout tourney, but found her way into Metaphor and has been a mainstay name in NXT as of late, with more than just a character role lately, it seems. Let's go right around the corner, as I said. We're going to go clockwise. Emmanuel, you're on deck. Who are your 2 that you believe that can make history to be the first NXT Women's North American Champion? Do you think the OC could take over NXT with what JJ was possibly prophesizing?
I mean, that's a possibility, but the sad thing about it that Mia Yim hasn't really shown the heel side yet to indicate that she is kind of leaning towards that way yet. So she hasn't taken the dark side yet with the Good Brothers and AJ Styles. So she's kind of like personnel. So I don't know what they're doing with her, but she's not winning. So Ruka just got the win for the tag team match. She's not winning.
Ooh.
I think my primary pick would be surprising to JJ, but Jada Parker might win this match. This ladder match. I mean, for me, there's a reason why I'm thinking heel, because of the outcome of the women's championship match, because that's a different story, the different topic. But Jada Parker is really killing it. OTM, it's kind of like it's there, but Jada is the reason, she's carrying the group. She's the force that, she's the mastermind of the group, basically. I picking her. And then I had to go for just in case a emergency break glass. If Roxanne does win, I gotta go for a face, and I have to agree with JJ. Kalani Jordynne, I mean, she's really deserving. She's I can see the promise, they have, and she's running for it. She got it, and I think there's a lot of matches that she could do as a baby face run versus the heel side.
All right. Well, I like the fact that people are rolling the dice, it seems, more at their secondary here, but the primary split focus here between babyface and heel. Arlene, is not too far the realm of possibility for NXT to have either all face champions or all heel champions. It would be the first time it's happened here in the business. I think, JJ, you had a conversation about that prior, about the main roster at one point. And the biggest champions right now for the men and women are on SmackDown are babyfaces. So just saying. That being said, Arlene, what's your two picks and thoughts regarding this match? And right now we've mentioned Kalani Jordynne, Last Legend, Jada Parker, Soruka as a non-factor, Meacham possibly as a non-factor. We've basically kind of left one name really out of this equation that we really haven't put a whole lot of stock into. So maybe that's a dark horse to think about. But go ahead, Arlene, your two plots.
Just because logic, I don't think Ruka is gonna win because she got the pin and she got the victory. Spoiler if you haven't seen NXT. Sorry.
Oh, right. Sorry, folks. Hashtag spoiler free. But that occurred on Tuesday. You guys got on YouTube. Continue.
But just in case there's someone like, hey, I didn't know she, that's why I don't think she's gonna win it. So personally, I'm kind of like with my brother. It's very rare that we pick the same people to win. I was just looking at the roster, just to see who was there. I don't think Fallon Henley is ready yet to be ready to be champion. So she's out of the equation. I feel like Mia Yim is gonna fall short because they've been excluding her a lot from the OC. So I feel like with this loss, I feel like she is going to feel hey, what about me? Because she's she hasn't really been included in a lot of the things that they've been doing. So I feel like with this loss, it's just going to send her in a spiral, and I think she's probably going to separate herself with LC. That's why I don't think Mia Yim is going to have anything with this win and stuff. But then, unless they help her, but I mean, I don't see her getting the championship. But it does seem kind of weird that they're putting her in that position. So maybe JJ's onto something. But I, like my brother says, I've been really impressed with Kiana James with what she's been doing. But I also like Jada Parker. I could actually do see having two heels because you have a lot of good baby faces that can give them a run for their monies and stuff. And if you have one baby face champion and one heel champion, I feel like the heel champion's gonna have better matches than because they're facing nothing but baby faces and the baby face facing heels, because most likely the heel's gonna end up losing, whereas the heel you want that baby face to win. So I kind of feel like they kind of have to also lead that way, where maybe they have to have two, that way but then I can it goes back and forth. I've been thinking this a lot, but
thinking.
yeah, thinking.
Like a lot of people have, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I think Keanu James is gonna win this. I think she's very impressive. She's impressed me in all her matches, and I think she might be. And since this is the first title, I mean, for her to be I don't want to I'm assuming that she's African American, right? I don't want to be wrong when I say that, right?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Also, by the way, it's Kalani Jordynne.
Sorry, Keanu Jordynne. Sorry, but what way to make history than her being the first one in both, first woman and then North American champion and then in race too. So I think they might give it to her, and I think she's gonna do really good wonders with that title. And then my second pick would be Jada Parker, just because of the simple fact that she's also a really good heel, and I think she's probably going to have some good matches. But I'll probably end up switching it because I feel like you kind of want to root for that baby face to win over the champion, where it's not less predictable. Because I feel like it goes back again, most likely most of the time when there's a babyface champion, most of the time the heel is gonna lose. So I feel like they kind of haven't had to have two heels to kind of be I want at least one babyface, so they can trade off, So those are my two picks.
All right. For those that don't know, of course, I say everyone's opinions matter too. I gave a selected few that I like to call the No DQ Nebula access to the forum early, and they have also put their predictions in and out of the ACW family and, of course, the No DQ Galaxy community. Shout out to Charlene, Lex, SC, Bacon Space, best name ever, Kimberly, Mark Anderson, Richard Morales, DJW, and others. Thank you for putting your predictions in. It's very partisan, but a majority right now are looking at Soruka just because of the upside. You talked about babyface, and for those that don't know, she has a background in tumbling. She's a gymnastics athlete. That's why she uses such a maneuver, and she's so agile with it too. I gotta admit, it's probably my favorite finisher right now in WWE. It's so damn unique, and she literally snatched the shot out of Lash. I think her and Lash are going to somehow clash and try and cost each other. So it's almost like they're putting too much character work into Lash Legend. That's why I think she's a non-factor, because of the bigger story, as JJ was alluding to, about her. Yes, she has tremendous upside. She's garnered our respect with what she could do in that ring. I mean, hell, she was a hell of a force in the Iron Survivor Challenge last year. And let's not forget, a couple of these women were involved in the Iron Survivor Challenge last year in December. So they know what they have to do to try and outlast the field, let alone take control of it. But it's not about pinning or submitting a person. It's about ascending a ladder and grabbing a championship. But I do think it's good to pick a heel and a face in this match to be your winners. But I think right now my primary is going to be Kalani Jordynne. And there has to be a reason why Meacham is down in NXT. What did it do for Baron Corbin when he went back down to NXT? It breathed new life into his career. Meacham has done, what's the timer? Oh, good. Jack shit on the main roster. And it's not like she's going to take on Bayley as long as Queen Nia Jax is in the freaking crosshairs. Thanks for getting Parliament at Castle first. Yay. But that being said, I'm going with Kalani Jordynne and Meacham. I do think this title is going to take more of a workhorse face mentality value to it inaugurally, and then we'll see what heels go after it. And I also want you to keep in mind of one thing. And yes, JJ, I watched NXT on Tuesday. Yes, I watched NXT on a Tuesday.
I know you did. You told me you were going to because of the Jordynne Grace Stevie Turner match.
I can't believe I literally stayed and watched the entire thing. Well, that was the opening, 5 minutes. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. I don't know if that's going to happen again. But I did see during that 6-woman tag, 2 individuals were really eyeing, I think, Soruka. And I do wonder, do they have a vested interest for her or a vendetta against her? Anyone remember the names Jessie Jane and Jasmine Nix? Why Jasmine Nix beat Thea Hale with a ridiculous Pele kick? I think there's a bigger rivalry stewing right now, tag team-wise, players, with maybe Thea Hale and Soruka against the possible Jessie Jane if she's making clear to compete with a face mask, and Jasmine Nix. Again, there's the beauty of NXT's women's division where it's doing more storylines than just title feuds, and that goes to its depth and quality. So I went with Kalani Jordynne and Meacham based on all that. Before we give it to Chris to close things out, what's your thoughts, Arlene?
Right now that you mentioned Lash Legend, the reason why I didn't pick her was because I feel like they're going to question her loyalty. I feel like she's not there yet to break away yet. I still feel like there's a story there. I feel like they're going to turn on her before she turns on them. I feel like that's where the story's going. I feel like they've been like saying, whose side are you on? And I think the more that they see her gravitate towards Trick Williams, I think they're going to be the ones booting her out, not so much as she leaving them. And that's why I didn't pick her. But just wanted to include that right now that you guys were talking about that.
That's fair. JJ, I do see your hand. I also want to acknowledge something in the chat, and I figured
Go
that
for
you
it.
wanted to tag team on that. Shout out to the Cleveland Combatant, Josh Mansfield, a $5 super chat. Boy, I am pumped for this weekend. This card is stacked. Also, JJ, let us gladly put this $5 into the Lola joins tissue. Hashtag JJ watches football fun. Y'all stop that! Damn it! But thank you, Josh, for your continued support in what we do here at What Media. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Appreciate you, young man, even though you are a young boy that needs to do homework more than often. And I almost want to agree with that because I thought this might have been her chance, and then Jasmine Nix happened. Just saying. There's another feud there. And I think Chase U right now might have a bigger debacle than financial problems at this point. That's a whole different conversation. All right, Chris, go ahead and round this thing out. What are your 2 picks regarding this NXT Women's Championship ladder match?
Can you put the graphic for this match, please?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's JJ, okay.
Well, there's a case for all 6 of these women superstars, and all 6 of these are well deserving to be champion material, and all 6 of these, they're well deserved. We get 2 picks for this ladder match, and I'm going to start with my primary pick. I'm going to go with my primary pick being Lash Legend. The reason I say Lash Legend is my primary pick is because I see her and Trick Williams. They're in a relationship together in real life, possibly. And I just feel like the power couple in NXT could do wonders, and they could be champions and help NXT in the long run. So I feel it would be best to put the champion on Lash Legend and say, hey, I brought the championship to Metaphor. I did it on my own. It's time for you guys to do stuff on your own and get championship in Metaphor. But I do see maybe Lash Legend breaking away from Metaphor down the road if it does happen. But my secondary pick is I've been going back and forth here. I don't think Sol Ruka is winning this because she won the tag team match on Tuesday, and that technically means if you win on the go home show, you don't technically win on the PLEs. So that's why I just don't see Sol Ruka winning. I feel she is better off being a chaser instead of being a champion for now. My secondary pick is going to be Fallon Henley.
Wow.
I'm going to give it to Fallon Henley because she just turned heel. She is working. She's doing good as a heel and possibly being the first inaugural Women's NXT North American Championship. It will do wonders for her career, and she could be this cocky heel or being a cocky champion and just seeing where things could go up in her career. So my 2 picks are Lash Legend and Fallon Henley.
All right, fair enough. And shout out to Twin Atkinson. I know he wanted to make it, but he couldn't. We appreciate you always, brother. I don't think that's necessarily true. I think she has more of an upside to her besides the fact she tumbles in the ring. And I think that shows with the feuds and the storyline she's been involved in. And one of the most presented individuals in the NXT women's roster, which again, incredible depth as the quality's being built, but the quantity definitely is there. And thank you, Matt Helms. We're doing good tonight. Well, again, guys, it's pretty sporadic, but majority, believe it or not, according to the poll of the Nebula, they're going with Soruka, actually. Over half of them picked Soruka as a primary thought, and a secondary thought was Meacham. So I think they're looking at momentum, and they're also looking at possibly that superstar recognition, because Meacham's been involved on the main roster, and she's also previously been involved in ladder matches. So, but again, you could plead a case for all six, and one of these six is going to make history, and I think the best woman will win. And I'm expecting a very unique ladder match, and I definitely expect the Soul Snatcher off the ladder to make me go Marinello, because that just sounds like something where if you can't win the match, you could certainly have the moment. So good luck to all six of these women in making history, and who will become the first NXT North American Women's Champion. May the best woman win. All right, great initial discussion. Let's go ahead and move forward. I don't think this is going to take long, because I do look at this card and kind of wonder, even Tuesday night didn't really give a lot to this, but it is a title match. Let's go ahead and talk about the NXT Tag Team Championships and see if JJ's premonition might lead towards his prediction. As David Frazer announced to defend the NXT Tag Team Championships against the Good Brothers, Carl and Luke Gallows, who pretty much came in and invaded NXT, for being perfectly honest here. After they were able to beat Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin, David Frazer has been proud NXT Tag Team Champions, but the Good Brothers have gotten under their skin, have physically attacked them, etc. And so they created this opportunity for themselves. Former TNA Tag Team Champions, former IWGP Tag Team Champions, now looking to add NXT Tag Team Championships to their resume. Emmanuel, you're on deck for this one. Do you have new Tag Team Champions?
Yes, I do.
What?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I mean, like, let's say Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows loses today on this Sunday. Then what? What are they going to do in the main roster? What are they going to do in NXT? They lost to the tag team champions. They're going to keep attacking them just to get another shot. It doesn't make sense.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't say it's too far fetched.
Yeah. So my logic is like, there's a reason why they've been dodging them. There's a reason why they surprise attack them from behind. Like the first time that you could say, the baby faces attack the heels from behind. Who could imagine that? Which is outrageous, and the heels did nothing to provoke it. And so this is why I had to go with the Good Brothers. Like, the momentum's there. I mean, they're gonna lose the momentum if you make them lose. So, like, right now, they desperately need wins. They desperately need to build tag teams in the NXT. It's like, I think there's gonna be a night of new champions, and then the new dawn of the new NXT era.
All right. Wow. Well, Arlene, I guess he's not too far-fetched on his prediction, because it's almost split evenly, but a majority by 5%, 10% margin, excuse me. Can't do math. 55 to 45 are going with the Good Brothers to become the new tag champs. And in a way, JJ, your NXT men's tag team division is kind of shallow. So maybe, adding new life into it with these former TNA tag champions, if we especially cross the line down the line, might not be a bad idea. Arlene, do you agree with your brother here?
This is getting scary and scary by the minute, because I agree with my brother. I honestly, you brought up the points that I was going to bring. Honestly, what NXT champion, other NXT tag teams do you have? Like, they're slim right now. I mean, whoever wins this match is like, where do you go from here? Who has the better storyline? And I feel like the team's name. Oh,
OTM?
No, OT. Yeah, not that one. The other team. OG's team.
What
Oh,
team?
the OC?
OC, thank you. I blanked out right now. The OC, I see them going with this storyline where like they win the tag team championship, and then they go and help AJ kind of like beat him up and like make him like bring him down, and to the point where like maybe like they make it seem like he's gonna lose the championship. Like, see, like we're gonna have all the titles, like, and he's just standing over Cody with the title, even though we know he's not gonna win. I'm just saying, like, I could see them doing that. Like, them, like, now I have the new NXT championship team with me. Now I'm going to bring home the Universal Championship. So I could see that storyline more than the other storyline. Because after that, who are they going to face? Like, there's not a lot of tag teams. And if you're going to start bringing, like, people from TNA, and like my brother said, like, I could see them using TNA versus TNA, like old TNA with new TNA. Who's better? So I feel like there's more of a storyline with the OC winning than the other team, because it's like, where do you go from there? Who's going to be challenging them after that? Who's a credible tag team that might go after if the OC doesn't win? Who could bring them down?
I guess I could get that behind that. Again, we don't know how far we're going to literally cross the line into TNA yet, as BattleGround right now is literally the borderline, and we'll see what happens. But I also figure out the fact that there is another team that did just return, and they know how to hold gold. Gallus boys on top! And if you're going to have Gallus go after the tag titles, you need a face dynamic. So I'm going against both of you and saying somehow Frazer and Axiom come out with the win. I said a chance retain. That being said, Chris, you're up next. So what's your thoughts on this tag title match? Do you have new tag champs?
Well, I'm going to have to agree with you, Noah. I got Nathan Frazer and Axiom retaining the tag team championships here, because what I saw on Tuesday, when we saw the exclusive footage was shown live on television, where before NXT went on the air, Nathan Frazer and Axiom, they were working the cassette, not the cassette. What is that called?
The merch truck.
Yeah, the merchandise truck. And we saw the Gallus and Anderson attacking them. So they stood tall at the end of this. So that technically means if you look strong and you're on top on the go home, you're kind of losing at the PLEs. So yeah, I feel Nathan Frazer and Axiom are gonna slide right in and retain these NXT tag team champions. And what you said about Gallus, I think Gallus challenging Nathan Frazer and Axiom would be a good match. We got NXT Heat Wave after this one, so maybe we could see that match. But if not, I would love for them to bring in a TNA tag team over. And personally, I feel like 2 TNA tag teams would be perfect to take on Nathan Frazer and Axiom, and they are the ABC and the Rascals taking on Nathan Frazer and Axiom. So we could see that dream match happen for the NXT tag team titles. But overall, Nathan Frazer and Axiom retain this Sunday.
All right. And JJ, you close this one out. So right now we got 2-2. So guess what? You're the tiebreaker. So where do you stand with this? I mean, that's not a bad shout out either, considering that was 2 teams I was thinking of. I also would go further and wonder if we could see the system shock us, and if Eddie Edwards and Brian Myers may cross over, the current TNA tag team champions. But that's a whole different conversation. But go ahead, JJ. Your thoughts on this tag title match? You got the Good Brothers winning?
I do have the Good Brothers winning, and I need to advise you, sir, to stay out of my head, because it's a dangerous place to go.
Oh, I'm
if
well
the
aware.
system is crossing over, I see the System versus the Good Brothers.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot.
I feel like that's going to be a knockdown, drag out brawl. And what has me picking the Good Brothers is going back to the beginning of this whole rivalry, and the whole I'm tired of main roster people coming down here and trying to win our titles.
Yep.
Just keeps sticking in my craw. And I feel like the Good Brothers are going to do it. And then you sort of unify the entire tag division to try to get the belts back from the Good Brothers.
The ultimate
Baby
opposition.
faces and heels kind of disappear the line for a minute as the entire NXT tag roster, the D'Angelo family, Chase U, OTM, Metaphor. There's more tag teams down there than you're really thinking about. The No Quarter Catch crew.
Okay, I did forget about that.
There's a good stable of tag teams down there. Edris and Anofi. And I could see them being the ones to dethrone the Good Brothers and breaking the streak of bad luck that's been, I think it's Anofi that's been following him with the Black Cat and the broken glass and everything. Like, I could see them winning the tag titles, if not at Heatwave, at whatever the next big show is after that, and being the way that they break the bad luck. Maybe do it at Havoc, another supernatural, spooky setting.
No Mercy is also another option because I know they did that last year prior to Halloween Havoc, I believe.
Right, but I'm saying save it for Halloween Havoc because Halloween Havoc is when you play up all the superstitions.
Fair.
So you have that be where they break the curse, if you will. But I see the good, and then to Chris's point about the ABC, Bullet Club.
Oh Lord.
We could get Speedball Mountain versus the Good Brothers.
Okay, I like that idea.
Then you've got, half of Mustache Mountain back in NXT. You could make a case for having Tyler Bate come back for one night and putting the team back together to try to unify the two brands, TNA and WWE, to take out the Good Brothers.
Okay, this is getting a little bit really out there, but it's not too far out there from happening.
It's really not. That's the thing. That's the beauty of a partnership like this. If this is going to go full tilt, balls to the wall, we're trying to truly establish the forbidden door, then that's something that could very much be a reality.
That's fair. That I didn't think that far deep, but I also just thought about, and this is something that kind of scares me, but I feel that NXT will handle it better. Your storyline reminds me of when Abyss was holding the X Division hostage as the X Division champion, when it was him and Brian Kendrick taking on the Immortals Beasts to try and save the X Division. Thankfully, he did.
You know what?
But still.
I am so glad you brought up the Monster Abyss. Can we please have Abyss versus PCO as part of this whole thing? Can we please make that happen?
I don't know, Joseph Park.
I don't care if it's Monsters Ball. I don't care if it's Full Metal Mayhem. I don't care if it's a Buried Alive match. Can we please have Abyss versus PCO?
I don't know if Joseph Park still speaks with Abyss. You would have to get a hold of him at Park and Park, but that's a whole different conversation.
But tell me you wouldn't want to see that, Noah.
I don't know if I want to see a man bludgeon himself, but then again, PCO's not human, so what do I know?
Special guest referee Cactus Jack. Let's go.
Oh God, that's too extreme. They're produced by Sammy Callahan, who's on commentary. Oh Lord, we're going down a dark place. All right. Well, that being said, keep hitting the good bros. He broke the tie, and again, it literally might be NXT versus the OC, which is a unique takeover to say the least. Especially because the OC, all three members have TNA experience and former TNA Tech champions and TNA Knockouts champions. So again, he's putting the pieces together. It could happen, I suppose.
And
All right.
former NWA and TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
That too, of course, with Amber Gallows, they were part of Wrestle Kingdom. I just got done watching all the Dominions ahead of Dominion, which I will be calling this weekend as well. So again, you're bringing it all together, and wherever the Good Brothers have been, they've held tag team gold. So we'll see. All right, interesting stuff. I did not think this match could be as polarizing as I thought. All right, well, let's go ahead and go to a NXT eccentric focus match, shall we? Arlene, you're on the bubble for this one to lead off as the, what's he call himself? The ruler, Ola Femi of the NXT North American division defends his NXT North American Championship in a triple threat match against the Cardiac Kid Wesley, who didn't lose the title in the first place, had a release due to injury, and of course, his kingdom still looking for his crown. Joe Coffey of Gallus after Gallus bum rushed all these men, including Josh Briggs, who I believe is injured. And so we have this triple threat match. Screw waiting in line. He's going to take it by force. And as Oba is aware, there are no disqualifications in triple threat, which means Gallus can get involved and run roughshod here. Now, I'm not going to say anything. Arlene, what's your pick?
I think Obi Femi's going to retain. I think it's just whenever it's very rare that in a triple threat match you have the championship person lose it. So that's why I don't think he's going to lose it in this one. If he's going to lose it, I think it should be. And if he does lose it, I don't think that's the way he should lose it. I think it should be in a singles one because then there's that whole storyline. Well, because honestly, I don't think Obi Femi is going to be the one pinned if he's going to end up being the one to lose it. Then there's that storyline. Well, I wasn't pinned, so I should get the next shot. So I kind of don't like that storyline. If they go, even if he doesn't get pinned, I feel like I should challenge you because I wasn't even involved in that pin or if I was pinned, I should get a rematch. So I feel like there's a bunch of loopholes if you go that route where if he ends up losing it. And I don't really like those type of storylines. So I feel like he has to retain. If he's going to lose, he should lose in a singles one. That's just my honest opinion on that one.
I feel like any dominant force should be overcome by a better wrestler than them in a singles capacity. So I can understand your sentiments there. I feel like triple threats are like fail safes, break glass, give another guy a spot on the card just cause to preserve a further storyline. All right, Chris, well, where do you stand? And just to put it out there, there's only been votes for Obafemi and Wes Lee in my poll from the Nebula. Nobody has voted for Joe Coffey. Where do you stand, Chris?
Well, this is gonna be a fun and entertaining triple threat match because in triple threat matches, we all have to remember there's a buffer and a fall person.
The golden rule.
And I feel this triple threat match is going to tear the house down at the UFC Apex on Sunday. It should be fun. It should be entertaining. But I'm going to agree with Arlene. I got Obafemi retaining and continuing his dominant reign as NXT North American champion. Who will be the fall person? I think the fall person is going to be Joe Coffey. I think Joe Coffey is going to be the fall person, and here's why. I personally believe I'm
Joe Hendry?
seeing.
That's Clash at the Castle.
Hey, say his name, and he appears, I believe, in Joe Hendry. I will always believe in Joe Hendry.
If Joe Hendry shows up, I'm gonna break something. I'm just gonna say that right now. If he shows up in a WWE-related show, I'm gonna break something. But go ahead, Chris, continue.
I see where Obafemi might be out of the ring, and that's when Wesley is almost about ready to become NXT North American champion. I think Wesley's going to hit his finishing move on Joe Coffey, and then Obafemi is going to come back into the ring, toss Wesley out of the ring, and that's how Obafemi is going to retain on Sunday. And hey, we got to think about this. We got NXT Heat Wave next month during Money in the Bank weekend, and I feel we're going to be in for a Wesley Obafemi one-on-one match for the NXT North American Championship. So you got to have Obafemi retain here, and we could get that matchup with Obafemi and Wesley for NXT Heat Wave.
That's fair. And again, this ruler, since breaking out of the tournament, winning the contract, and beating Dragon Lee for this title, and has been unstoppable since, showing his incredible dominance with strength and power, hoisting 2 men at once that I still could not believe, that left me gasped and shocked and awe that I could stand and deliver. Why one of those men right now is injured. It's a very fair point. Again, how do you beat this anomaly if you don't gang up on him? But that's a hell of a way to make a return for Gallus and Joe Coffey just to lose again. The Iron King hasn't done a damn thing his entire WWE career, has had moments but no accomplishments. Pisses me off. But I also, like I said, Josh Briggs was injured by Gallus. You don't think that big man's going to not want revenge? Anything goes in the triple threat. I see Josh Briggs coming back, and I see him and Wesley somehow neutralizing Gallus, and Olafemi will take advantage of all the chaos, and I think Joe Coffey will be the guy on the bitter end of the ruler of the NXT North American Championship division. And still, I agree with both of you. I think that Obafemi is going to retain now, too. It would just be so random and out of the blue if it took this type of scenario to beat Obafemi for this title. If you're going to call yourself a ruler, he might as well be literally upset by somebody in a singles capacity that actually gets the better of him. But how do you neutralize the power of Obafemi in one-on-one action? Can you stop the Cardiac Kid's heart in that predicament? We are not going to find that out this Sunday in Triple Threat. That leads to speculation. So I think you're onto something, Chris, with the booking there. And I agree with both of you. I think Obafemi is retaining. JJ, you've been on Obafemi. You compared this being the Moose for Pete's sake. Obafemi versus Moose. Jesus Christ. I could just imagine that match. Anyway, you compared Obafemi, though, just with his power, his stature, his presence towards Moose, despite the fact you think Moose is a knockoff Terry Crews. But what's your thoughts on Obafemi's run as the North American champion? Do you see the ruler continuing his reign of dominance? Or do you think that we got an upset here?
You said how many? What's the split going right now?
Literally, Wesley is 36. Obafemi is 63. No votes for Joe Coffey.
Well, allow me, good sir, to be that one vote. I'm going with Joe Coffey here. I think this is how you stop the dominance without completely halting his push. Because much to Arlene's dismay, and as much as she hates those type of angles, I feel like they've started to back Obafemi into a corner here, and you need to find a way to move him to the next level without killing his entire momentum. On top of that, it was the Gallus boys that helped get Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson ready for his WrestleMania match. I think this may be a bit of a reward for Joe for helping get Rocky in ring shape. I see Joe Coffey pinning Wes Lee. Then you can run it back one-on-one against Obafemi at Heatwave, make the solid defeat of him there, and move on. I think this is how they use what they use to get Obafemi to the next level without having him take an L.
Well then, so you think Obafemi is ready to move on from what arguably has been the workhorse title of your NXT brand to the next echelon, which is World Championship contention. Do you think in the span of literally 6 months, he's ready for that?
I think by the end of the year, he's dethroning Trick.
Damn, hot take. All right. Well, that being said, Emmanuel, where do you stand? Do you have Wesley just because no one said it?
No.
Okay, I tried. Sorry.
Yeah, I know you tried, but no, Wesley is there to take the pin. Ironically, he's taking the pin because that's the whole storyline, that he never lost and never got pinned for it. And now you could just move on from that storyline that now he has been pinned and lost the North. Like he can no longer say that as an argument. So that's why I think Wesley's gonna take the pinfall. And I agree with JJ in a sense, but if it was 1-on-1 Joe Coffey versus Oba Femi, then I could actually see that. But since it's a triple threat, I have to go with Oba Femi. Because then Oba Femi's gonna try to look for Joe Coffey and ask for the title match, like 1-on-1, then shenanigans, etc. You know how WWE booking goes. And that storyline's gonna take probably 3 months tops, and then move on. But for me, there's more story, more for Oba, but Joe, I think the main prize for Joe Coffey will be the NXT title or the North American title. That's my only point of view. But
Rhea's challenger for the NXT UK Championship. I don't think he's ever challenged for the NXT Championship, so I like that idea. So I just think it's weird that Joe Coffey hasn't won a title at all in his WWE career. The Dan Gallows boys, Wolfgang and Mark Coffey, one of the most dominant tag team champions in NXT UK history and in NXT. So seriously, give the Iron King a bone. But I just don't know if it happens in triple threat because Oba Femi has been unstoppable. This is what, his third triple threat in his reign alone? Yes, Harley.
I was just gonna say that when it comes to championship changes, there always has to be that one, and I don't think this is the match for it. I think that's why I went with the tag teams more over than this one, just because it goes back to let's say JJ's right and Joe, that's Joe, right? That's the guy's the other guy's
Joe
name.
Coffey.
Okay. Wins in this one, then let's say that they run it back on NXT Heatwave. You know he's not gonna win that title clean. He has to win it clean if you're gonna give it to him in the singles match if they run it back. Because I would hate it if the other people help him win. Because then it's then you're not doing anything for it. That's what I fear. That's why I don't think that if they're gonna run a singles match back, it has to be clean. Because if you win, if let's say you pin him and then he pins the other person, Wesley, then you run it back and then let's say he does pin Obi Femi and then they run it back, he wanted in the rematch, he has to win it, and he doesn't win him clean, and it's then you hurt Obi Femi's, run, I guess you could say.
Well, everybody's gotta get pinned eventually, though.
Yeah, but I'd rather him beat him clean. That's kind of where I'm at. Because if you're going to run that singles match, he has to win it clean. Because if he cheats to win it, it's did you win it though fairly? And then I feel like you're kind of just hurting his run. That's why I don't. Yeah.
How many times did Roman Reigns retain his title fairly?
Yeah, exactly. And how many people got bored of that? A lot of people got. Yeah, exactly. A lot of people got fed up because he wasn't winning it clean. So I'm just saying, you're not gonna. If he's gonna win it, he has to win it legitimately. Because a lot of people are just gonna poop on his. I don't want to say the bad word or shit on his parade, but I might as well just say it now.
Zero tolerance.
You do it and you push it and you push it and you stretch it out to where you make a cage match or something.
Right. Extreme
where you can't have the outside interference.
Exactly. I would be more happy with that scenario than just a singles.
But you've got to keep building. Let Coffey keep cheating until finally had enough.
Yeah. How far do you push
I can
him
see
in?
that, but I wouldn't be a happy camper. I feel like if they're gonna give it to him, he should just win it clean.
Well, fair enough. All right. Well, good stuff. And again, I'm kind of surprised. A little bit of polarization with the NXT North American Championship. I honestly didn't think there was going to be any thoughts on a title change here. But again, it just goes to show how unique this show can be and how unexpected it can be. Now, we talked a lot about championship changes. We talked a lot about, battles for supremacy. This is a battle that's more valuable than gold considering both these women's backgrounds because we're going underground, folks. This is as legit as it gets. MMA fighters in NXT Underground, Shayna Baszler, the Queen of Spades, versus Lola Vice in the UFC Apex. I can only imagine what this is going to look like. Allow me to give you a little bit of a tell of the tape. Again, folks, Shayna Baszler, Queen of Spades, UFC record 15-11-0. She won every one of her matches outside decision via submission. Why, those that don't know, Lola Vice's name is Valerie Loretta. Her nickname was Master. Formerly involved in Bellator MMA, she won matches via TKO and KO, one match by decision. You clearly see the experience value here on Shayna Baszler's side. Multiple backgrounds in Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, and MMA, trained by Josh Barnett. While the background's a lot lighter on, Lola Vice's side, involved only in Taekwondo and MMA. But the funny thing here is Lola Vice brought Shayna Baszler back down into NXT. Yet it was Shayna Baszler, the first woman to cross over from MMA into the WWE. And Robin Rapshot on the black and gold holding the NXT Women's Championship for the longest amount of days total. Now, I would argue to say that Shayna Baszler helped Lola Vice win her only NXT Underground match in her young WWE career. But there's no denying that Lola Vice, she has taken the transition from MMA to WWE pretty seamlessly. She has a very strong upside to her, and she has a very strong striking background. Furious ferocity and speed. Going to take a lot more than dancing, though, to beat Shayna Baszler here, where Shayna Baszler grew up in the Underground. And again, folks, the only way to win under NXT Underground rules is via tap out, knockout, or ref stoppage. And again, no title on the line, but I think it's a title in itself to say that I'm the baddest bitch right now in WWE, and this is my domain. We've already seen Shayna Baszler destroy Monster Slammers in GCW. We've seen Shayna Baszler literally submit people and incapacitate them on the grandest stages of them all, and in Underground. Carmen Petrovic, for example, she got injured. And of course, Shayna Baszler and Natalya used to be running mates together. Lola Vice has nobody in her corner. I imagine there's going to be nobody in either woman's corner here, but I do wonder what the outlook of this is going to be. It does feel like one of those things where it's like Shayna Baszler is the experienced veteran. She's going to put the younger talent over. But is it really going to be that, or is it going to be more of a humbling? I'm kind of torn on this one, but just because I know they probably are trying to put more of an upside to Lola Vice, and maybe she might be on her way to the main roster next draft, I think Lola kind of needs to win this. Otherwise, she kind of neutralizes all that Latino heat that's been bringing her forward as of late. To have a win over Shayna Baszler in Underground is going to do heavy respect on Lola Vice's career in and out of WWE amongst the UFC proud participants and MMA fans. We already heard voices of UFC give their thoughts on this match as well. Not a wrestling match, not even really a fight. It's Underground. It's almost one of those things where it's like a grappling affair. And again, Shayna is experienced in that. Why Lola is more of a striker, but we've already seen one strike by Lola can knock you the fuck out. But I think I gotta go here with Lola Vice on this one because I just don't know if Shayna Baszler is gonna be more involved in NXT considering this Sonya Deville storyline development on the main roster alongside Zoe Stark regarding the tag team championship debacle that still has no clear direction, it seems. So I'm gonna leave this thing off and say that Lola Vice somehow knocks Shayna out, at least for a long enough moment for the ref to stop it. I'm gonna say Lola wins. JJ, what's your thoughts on this Underground match? This is like the third Underground match, I think, in your NXT history and the second one for the women. And Lola Vice, of course, previously challenged for the NXT Women's Championship. She sacrificed her contract during a match itself. I still say that was a bullshit, dumb decision on her part. But she also is out to prove a point. And would you say that maybe Lola has had a stronger bit of momentum in her crossover to WWE than Shayna Baszler maybe did initially or has had for like the long haul? Like, what's your thoughts on this entire outlook here?
Well, I definitely agree with you that Lola has had a better presentation and upside than Shayna in her WWE career. And I know you don't look at these things, and I hate to say it, but when it comes right down to it, Lola's just prettier. That's why they can market her sex appeal. No disrespect to Shayna Baszler, but to the average fan's eyes, she is just not attractive.
Mm.
I hate to say it, and I'm sorry if it comes off as sexist, but that's just the nature of the beast when it comes to this.
I understand that. I would against you.
This one is almost as hard for me to call as the 6-woman ladder match, and I'm gonna tell you why. On the surface, if this was happening in any other building in Las Vegas, Nevada,
But this one,
I would say Lola Vice, hands down, no ifs, ands, or buts. I feel like this match has to be unscripted. I feel like this match can't be your standard WWE booked wrestling match.
completely agree.
Because the UFC fans and the UFC spectators in the UFC Apex will shit all over this if it looks way too choreographed.
Yeah, this is in SummerSlam. This is the literal building for Ultimate Fighting Championship. Dana White owned. I dare you to make a mockery of that in that zone. Continue.
It would be like going to a high school wrestling tournament and seeing people break out super kicks. You just can't do it. This needs to be a UFC fight. That being said, if it goes that route, Shayna should own this.
Bar
hands
none.
down.
Bar none.
And even though I may end up, to take a pun from one of the North American ladder participants, although I may end up eating defeat with that pick, I am going to say Shayna Baszler in this one.
All right. Got one Shayna and one Lola. And if it makes you feel any better, folks, it's about 50-50 for this as well. It is slight majority for Lola Vice, 55% versus Shayna Baszler at 45%. So good luck. All right. I feel bad for Walter Cruz not being here because he's the MMA expert, and I just gave a tail of the tip where he probably already done the research for this because he's literally our UFC guy. Go check out his watch alongs, folks, on his YouTube channel. Appreciate you, brother.
Well,
Emmanuel,
looks like he's going for Lola in the comments because he says that's his
good
mommy.
Lord. Damn it, Walter. I'm trying to freaking. Never mind. JJ
Just remember this, Walter. When you sit next to this man in college, you can't go into simp mode. You got to be professional.
Damn it. I'm not.
The only person allowed to go into simp mode is this man when bunnies appear.
You stop that! There's nothing. He's gonna get. I'm gonna go off on you for a moment. I swear. Anyway,
if you want to hear Noah rant on me, super chat $20.
I'm trying my best to keep my blood pressure at a normal status. Thank you. Especially with Saturday coming up. Yeah. Sanaya. Emmanuel, your thoughts on this NXT Underground bout? Who do you got getting knocked out or tapped out or pass out?
I have to go with JJ. Like going for Shayna Baszler. Surprisingly, not like so, because right now, like for me, Lola Vice is not coming for me. She had the underground match against Natty, and she won. You know, and she won. And the match is supposed to make you stronger out of it, more serious, more dominant. Was the first thing that Lola Vice did to Shayna Baszler once she thought she KO'd her, checked her ass. And look what happened. Go. I can't pronounce the submission. Yes, thank you. I can't pronounce it right. I have speech problem, so I'm not going to try to attempt to pronounce it. So
I got you, brother.
yeah. So and unless you make Lola Bice into a a big threat, like she could submit you, KO you at any minute. She's not. She doesn't have that badassery, per se, to make her viable because she's not taking herself seriously. That's all she has, like her sex appeal, like. And I don't like. I feel like this is not the case for this match. It's supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be like who's the baddest wrestler and who could survive doing that elements and I feel like unless Lola Bice takes a 360 and change her character, I don't see it. Like I think this defeat will show her maybe I should take more things seriously. Maybe I should not focus on the ass shaking and my ego got checked and got defeated, and maybe we get a new version of Lola. But as of right now, I'm not a Lola Bice fan, so that's all I have to say about that match.
Humble in defeat, even with Latino heat. All right, fair enough. Arlene, where do you stand in this underground bout? Again, Shayna Baszler, I mean, she is the legit badass that's been involved in WWE for years. Lola Bice is the newest girl on the scene from the MMA side of things. And why both these women have hung with the likes of Amanda Nunes and Chris Cyborg, and just to name a couple. I still feel like this is Shayna Baszler's domain that Lola Bice needs to prove herself in. And that's why I do think Lola kind of needs to win, even if it is NXT Underground, not GCW. But what's your thoughts on this?
I'm kind of like also like in between. I can see them going both ways. I can see that, like, in my honest opinion, I think Shayna needs a little bit more than Lola, just because she's been kind of like in a rut in the WWE roster. So I feel like this kind of will help her momentum. But at the same time, I feel like they might end up giving Lola. But if you're gonna give it to Lola, what are you gonna do with her afterwards if she wins? Like, are you gonna strap a rocket to her? I hope that's the plan if you're gonna end up giving it to her, because I mean, this is Shayna's domain. So if you're gonna make her look like Lola Vice, look like I never seen Lola Vice fight MMA, so I mean, I'm pretty sure she's a good wrestler, but because I haven't seen her, I'm like, you better strap a rocket to her and do something like great with her if you're gonna end up having Shayna Baszler in defeat after this. And we also have to keep in mind, you said that no one's probably gonna be walking down with Shayna Baszler. We have to think about Zoe Stark and how they're in a tag team. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I can actually see Shayna losing. And then this is where Zoe Stark is the voice of reason. And remember, Sonya Deville wants to talk to us. Maybe we should think about it and talk to her. We haven't really been successful in our own right. Maybe this is where, she's comforting Shayna and she's like, you ready to have that talk now, Shayna? That's when Sonya Deville comes in and says, you ready to have that talk with me now, Shayna? Maybe I can make you see what I see in you guys. And this is kind of how you get her to be like the manager for them, the talking piece and stuff. So I could see that going that way too. So, but at the same time, it's like, it goes back to like, are you gonna, does Lola Vice needs it too? Because like after this, like if she loses, where do you go with her after this? It's both scenarios. It's like, if you strap on a rocket to her with Shayna, I feel like Shayna's a better wrestler, to be honest. That's why I kind of feel like if you're gonna make her get pinned and get defeated by Lola Vice, you better strap a rocket on her and stuff. Because if you're not gonna do anything with her, then Shayna should win this. But I feel like they might end up giving it to Lola Vice, and maybe she might be in talks for maybe being the championship. So I kind of feel like in the scheme of things, I feel like they might end up giving it a little bit more over Lola Vice than Shayna. It's sad to say because, like, I mean, I feel like Shayna kind of needs a little bit more, but I just feel like either way, whether Lola Vice wins or loses, you have to do something. What are you going to do with her next? So if they're going to stop that rocket, they better invest that time in building up better opponents, because I feel like if you're not going to do anything with her, then you need Shayna to win this more, because I think she needs it more than Lola Vice if you're not going to strap that rocket with her. But I feel like that's kind of like the storyline, or at least that's the storyline in my head, because who knows what WWE's storyline is going from the
Especially trying to blur the lines between professional wrestling and mixed martial arts. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so it's like, for me, it's like I feel like I see that storyline where they fight. I feel like she is in defeat, and Zoe Stark's like is trying to like talk to her, and that's when Sonya Deville comes in there, and you get her to be the talking piece, and maybe she gets them to that tag team, because boy, do they deserve it. And I think they will make those tag titles mean something. I know, with Bianca and Jade, I mean, they've been talking about them making a thing, but I feel like they're not really like defending it and stuff. So maybe like with the Shayna and Zoe, hopefully maybe like they gets talked about a little bit more. But
All right.
yeah, I think they might go with the Lola Vice, but only fight a little bit. But that's scenarios
the clutch.
yeah.
Dude, pun intended. Well, it also would be, I think, a huge statement, Chris, if Lola Vice somehow submits Shayna Baszler versus knocking her out. Lola Vice only has a striking background with her MMA work in Taekwondo. She has never won a match or has, to my knowledge, used submissions in victory. So it's one of those things where, again, what does she do against Natalya? We called it. She knocked her the fuck out. So I think if Lola Vice is going to make a name for herself against Shayna here, she doesn't need to knock her out. She needs to tap her out. But can she do either? Chris, where you stand to close this thing out?
Well, this is the thing. This is going to be truly an MMA fight. And
it should be, damn it.
And a UFC fight. And personally, I hope this match is a better match than what I saw last year in the MMA rules match with Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey at SummerSlam, because that match was the worst I've ever
about that
seen.
For reasons. I was there live, but continue.
But we got and personally, it needs to be like this. And personally, I hope this match is in a UFC Octagon match. Octagon.
Awesome.
I hope they would bring the UFC Octagon to the UFC Apex for this match, and that would blow the roof off the place on Sunday. But as far as the match goes, Lola Vice, she turned on Shayna Baszler couple of weeks ago. And with Lola Vice, she's been shaking her butt more than ever. And personally, she looks good. She's a good wrestler. She's a good MMA fighter. But what I saw in the video package on Tuesday, that this Sunday is going to be the reintroduction of the Queen of Spades. I would love to see the old Shayna Baszler come out on Sunday.
I
want to see the old Shayna Baszler. This Shayna Baszler that I'm seeing right now, it's down at the bottom. It's down at the bottom. I want it to go to the top. I want to see the old Shayna Baszler where she's breaking arms, breaking limbs, piece by piece. That Shayna Baszler is coming out this Sunday. And sorry if I'm getting fired up because of this. I got Shayna Baszler beating Lola Vice this Sunday, because this is in Shayna Baszler's home turf in the MMA in the MMA background.
I love the excitement and enthusiasm and the passion for technical combat. Before I move on, yes, Emmanuel.
As of right now, let's say Lola Vice does win, and do you see any character growth from her? Because this gimmick for her for as a main roster team, I don't like. How well do you think it's gonna go and as main roster woman per se? Do you see a promise or something that is gonna be fizzle out right away? Like people are gonna get bored by it.
JJ, your thoughts?
I don't know. Like, I don't think it's gonna really do much for her character. I think she's just gonna continue to be the same. It's like she may walk around for a few weeks talking about how she beat the Queen of Spades, but there's no real growth from that.
Right. It's like, again, what have you done for me lately that means of value versus what have you done that just maybe was a singles victory for you? Like, what does it really do to add stock towards your claim towards being, the baddest in the brand, but actually can win a championship when it matters?
I mean, the only other person I could see that she could then go on to potentially defeat would be Charlotte. Because she will have defeated the Queen of Hearts. She will have defeated the Queen of Spades. Now she just needs to go after the overall queen.
Yeah, that bitch getting buried. Anyway.
I'm just saying, it's like there's really no other major submission woman on the roster.
That's fair. It's
except
fair.
for Charlotte and her, figure eight.
Yep. And of course, she's still out injured. I do wonder how Charlotte's going to fare now in this alteration of that pro wrestling ecosystem because, boy, has things changed without her in the helm. I'm just saying. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, change is good. So, either way, I do think this will do something to Lola Vice's mentality that's only going to make her even more annoying, but also maybe better and more important to the WWE marketing ecosystem and what you can do inside a 4-sided circle versus an 8-sided octagon with no ropes. Again, no idea what's going to happen this Sunday, but I know one thing. I'm ready for Walter to give all the possible UFC know-how he can, hopefully, foolish young man, to this legitimate MMA fight. At least it should feel like that. Good luck to both. All right. Let's go ahead and get back to professional wrestling, shall we? Chris, you're going to leave things off here in the semi-main because, again, we know the most important match here that made us go, what the fuck, and really could change the landscape as we know it. But the fact that he signed with NXT, maybe there's more than meets the eye, but are we going to seriously see an ego whoop that trick? Just saying. Let's talk about the NXT Championship, shall we? The NXT Championship's on the line as Trick Williams defends the gold against All Ego, Ethan Page. I mean, pretty substantial short-term story. He beat the Meta 4. He got signed to NXT, and a cap on his contract. He gets an NXT title opportunity in his very first match this Sunday under WWE at the UFC Apex at NXT BattleGround. Why Trick Williams, simply put, he and all of NXT are looking to whoop that trick. Chris, I don't think much more needs to be said for this, but go ahead and give your thoughts. Who do you got leaving with the NXT Championship?
I'm going to say it right now. I'm keeping it short and sweet. This is Ethan Page's first WWE match, and that's a rarity. You come in, you're a free agent, you sign with WWE, then you're competing for a NXT championship on the first match, on the first night that you're competing and showing the world what you're made of. That is a rarity. And I'm going to give credit to Vic Joseph. He was almost one letter away from saying AEW on NXT. And personally, Booker T had to cut him off.
I guarantee you that was straight up work. That was straight up work, but continue.
But overall, keeping it short and sweet, whoop that trick, retains on Sunday.
Now, I know that we have not been unanimous in any match tonight. So I don't think I should expect more of the same from this panel. So here's what we're going to do. First off, it's not even unanimous in the poll. Some people did go with All Eagle, 30%. 70% did go with Trick Williams. But I also believe right now we're going to whoop that Trick. There was too much of a story for Trick chasing the title just to lose it underneath this circumstance to have a comeback moment in Canada, possibly, knowing NXT Heatwave is in Toronto. Then again, with some unique storytelling, I could see this also being literally what they might design this to be. But that being said, I'm going to say that Trick retains. JJ, what do you got?
You know, I'm kind of over the days where champions and world champions in particular have lengthy runs without bouncing a title back and forth in a feud. I am really leaning towards a brand new champion here, especially if we're going to continue the TNA working relationship.
Right. That's also fair.
There's no reason why Ethan Page can't win the title here, hold it until Heatwave in Canada, where a certain walking weapon hails from, hold it until No Mercy, dump it back to Trick. I think that's what a feud needs to these days. You know, you think about the way Foley and Rock bounced the title back and forth. I love Trick. I think he's doing an amazing job as champion, but I think he was better chasing the title. And I think that if he lost it and then reclaimed it in a couple of months, I feel like that could do a world of, you know, more for his character development.
It's a deep thought. You're at a crossroads, and I can see.
I know. And then there's the fact that the way we do it here in the polls is who's going to walk out with the title. So Ethan Page could win, and Trick could still leave with the belt, disqualification,
Exactly.
count out, something, you know.
Because what's most important here is the position of the championship, because that's what's being fought for at the end of the day. And we have seen, you know, egos explode and go to a no contest and push things out further. Hello, AJ Styles and Samoa Joe.
Yeah. I mean, Trick is going to barely squeak it out.
Oh, yes. All he needs is 3 seconds.
I don't know if it's going to be disqualification or what, but I think he's going to barely squeak it out. This is not going to be the end of it.
All right. I again, with an ego like that, I think this is truly just the first shot fired. He created the opportunity. What's he going to do with the opportunity? That's what we're going to learn about All Ego Ethan Page. You've never seen this guy wrestle. And again, this is one, to JJ's point, one half of the longest reigning TNA Tag Team Champions in history. The North with the Iron Man, the standard of TNA wrestling. Josh Alexander, the walking weapon, currently injured. Get well soon. And also All Ego Ethan Page, very accomplished professional wrestler, straight out of the AIW area as well, for those that don't know. It's just one of those things where right now, the fact that TNA is going to Canada literally next month, and WWE, following Slammiversary, is going to Canada next month. Different cities, but still the same country. I think we're going to get a lot of ego presence. Just saying. But I just don't think right now you literally
Like that, reverse it.
WWE
WWE will be in Canada before Slammiversary
yeah,
because Heat Wave Money in the Bank are the beginning of July.
I forgot about that. Yeah, you're right. The beginning of July. Dates. I can't keep up all these dates. Too much wrestling's happening. It's like a different wrestling show every week, it seems. All right.
All the wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Well, right now we got 3 for Trick, 1 hesitant. Emmanuel, where do you stand in this? Do you think All Ego upsets the world at NXT BattleGround and wins the NXT Championship?
Yes, I do. I see the biggest upset of the night, besides Jordynne Grace, but that's until later on. Because like I said earlier on, today, on Sunday, we're going to see a new face of NXT, Ethan Page. What to feed a man's ego and believe of his own hype if he comes in first match and defeating the almighty Whoop That Trick.
What?
1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring.
Ooh,
in glory. You know how he's going to be. And he's going to make his NXT debut going, I told you all. I called my shot. I did something that nobody has ever done in their first match in NXT. And that's how you build a star. That's how you build a ultra heel. That's how you make a person feel legit. Like, wow. For me, I never seen Ethan Page wrestle. For me, that would be the biggest impression. Because for him to lose 1, 2, 3 in controversial fashion, let's say, foot on rope and referee misses it. And then, shenanigans, yeah. Or the Orin Gunther match, shoulders not on the mat and referee misses it. And we don't need that. We need a clear, decisive push for Ethan Page. Or no, like, what are we doing here? For me, it's easy. It's crystal clear. I can see the promotion, like we've been talking about all day long doing this. This prediction that we want more TNA to be involved in, and what way to cross promote, because there's some rivalries for TNA and for Ethan Page that he hasn't settled yet. I'm assuming that he hasn't.
You're not too far off. Let me just say this. There probably is some bad blood, but that was a previous management because he left TNA for AEW. Now he's left AEW Ring of Honor for NXT, and his first match is a championship opportunity.
Exactly so.
So it's almost a big F you to 2 companies, unless, time heals all wounds, and maybe Josh Alexander warmed his heart, and maybe TNA is back in a comfortable place. But still, all right, damn. So much for
that's my pick. Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, is the apocalypse upon us? Arlene, do you agree with your brother?
Listening to everybody, like, so far, what they've been talking about this match, I can see it going both ways. I can see everybody's point of view. I can see All Ego winning this. It actually kind of goes with my storyline because just recently he tagged up with Javon Evans, and I see it like a Trick Williams in him, and I feel like Trick Williams might be taken under his wing. And what happened when one person overshadows the other one? Carmelo Hayes. I feel like Trick Williams is on the way to becoming the next Carmelo Hayes and end up, betraying Javon Evans and him becoming the new Trick Williams. I feel like he has the potential to overshadow Trick Williams. The way he's wrestled has impressed me so much. Everybody's saying, whoop that Trick and everything like that. But what happens when no one's no longer seeing whoop that trick, and now they're saying Javon Evans. I know he has a catchphrase, but I can't think about it off the top of my head. But like, I know he has a catchphrase. Imagine now fans saying that. He's like, hey, what happened? What, yesterday?
Young OG.
Okay, yeah, thank you. So, but like, imagine people like start, chanting his name, and they're no longer chanting Trick Williams' name. Don't you think like it's gonna be like, oh wow, I used to be like these fans used to be back of me. Now they're back of this guy. Like, and then like he's gonna remember what Carmelo Hayes told him a while back when this happened. The same thing happened. He's like, wait a minute, I can't let this guy overshadow me. Like, I'm it. I'm the man. So I can feel like
echoes what Ethan said on Tuesday to your point as well. Because let's face it, this is a match of two egos, even if one is massively bigger right now than the other.
Exactly. So it's like I can see that, Al Eagle wins it, and then you can have Javon Evans wins it, and now he has the title. Now Trick Williams is jealous because now he has what he wants. And now you run it back, and then imagine that match, Javon Evans versus Trick Williams. They're both great fighters. Who is the fans going to be cheering for that one? I feel like, what way to bring Javon Evans to to break out than for him to defeat Trick Williams and him being the next Trick Williams. So I could see that happening, and I feel like that's or I also had like in my head like Trick Williams winning this, but then Javon Evans dethroning him. So either way, I feel like Javon Evans is going to end up like champion, depending on what storyline you're going to go with. I'm listening to my brother's talk, and the more I think about my storyline, the more I think I like the storyline where it's like Trick Williams loses it and Javon Evans is the one to win it back. And he's like, aren't you proud of me? I got the championship. And he's like, ooh, maybe Carmelo Hayes was right.
A little bit out of
Maybe.
left field, but that kind of neutralizes Trick Williams' momentum at that point. Whoop, technical difficulties. We're getting back. So
yeah, but it's like you kind of have to see like at one point you have to bring the fans are going to turn. I feel like on him. So I feel like once they like he has to play that era because you can't always be a baby face. Fans are eventually going to turn on you. So is Trick Williams able to play that heel? So this is a way to test it out. And I feel like this is the way to go because it's like you said, like he has a really good ego. He really believes in himself and he has his fans behind him. But when they're no longer chanting his name, will that still sit well with him? And will he remember what Carmelo said to him when he turned him? You wanted to be number one. Now that you want to continue being number one, what happened with just being number two? He's going to feel that same way when this Javon Evans is number one and he can't stand the fact of himself being number two. So I feel like
all ego seizes it here this Sunday.
Yeah, and I feel like Javon Evans is the one that's going to dethrone him and lead that Trick Williams spiral to the heel. I think that's my storyline, at least the way my storyline, because I feel like I said, like eventually I see Javon Evans becoming the next Trick Williams and Trick Williams becoming a new Carmelo Hayes, and what storyline makes more sense for him to lead that route. And I feel like the ego is the way to go. So yeah, I was originally going with Trick, but then when I was listening to JJ, my brother, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Which one fits my storyline better? And I think Al Ego fits that storyline more better with him winning than Trick Williams winning.
I mean, it's a fair argument. Talk about telling a different story, but also putting a character perspective into a whole different narrative. And sometimes a change of character is what you need to get ahead in this business or stay relevant, as we're seeing countless times over. A tale as old as the barbershop window Mario Giannetti found himself thrown through back in the day. Just saying. Well, that being said, I hope everybody's had a fun chat so far. I love the fact that all these matches have been polarizing, very dynamic, very unique, extended post-booking circumstances. But I think without further ado, I think this is the reason that people are definitely wondering what the fuck's about to go down Sunday in the UFC Apex 2. Because it's time for the main event that I think it should be. Main event of this intimidating special and hopefully the main event of this show. You want to talk about character dynamic? How about with the Prodigy, where I say Rise of the Promise, might be left broken and her run might perish. JJ, we're back around full circle to you, kicking things off. Let's go ahead and talk about the future of the NXT Women's Championship. The prodigy, Roxanne Perez, who has beaten everybody possible, it seems, defends the gold against her most dangerous foe from a former domain that Roxy once wrestled in and lost to Deonna Purrazzo. The Juggernaut, the TNA Knockouts World Champion, Jordynne Grace. Well, so what do we want to talk about? I mean, seriously, did anybody expect it in their wildest fantasies of booking that we were going to see Jordynne Grace contend for the NXT Women's Championship ever while signed to TNA, let alone the TNA Knockouts World Champion? Everything was leaning towards Marigold, Julia, and Roxanne Perez possibly being at Heatwave. But Roxanne Perez doesn't have to deal with that beautiful insanity right now because Julia's coming back from surgery with a broken wrist. So she's out indefinitely for the time being. But this right here has to be the launching pad towards creating a portal where nothing will be prohibited. The circumstances that are at stake here for both these women, representing not just the championship, but their companies and their divisions. It's 1A and 1B as far as you look at the importance of these two and this business direction. JJ, who leads with the NXT Women's Championship come Sunday?
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner and new NXT Women's Champion will be the Juggernaut, Jordynne Grace.
Do tell.
I have long-term fantasy booking in my brain for this one. I think that this entire partnership got started because of the way Ava was proclaiming that NXT had the best women's division.
Oh, I guarantee
when
you.
We all know it's the Knockouts.
You're damn right, it's the Knockouts.
I think that was the catalyst for all of this. And if Jordynne Grace doesn't walk out with the title, then what the fuck are we doing here? Basically. I think this is going to be huge promotion for TNA. I think this is going to be huge promotion for the NXT brand. Because much like Bully and Tommy and LaGreca were saying on Busted Open, TNA fans may watch Raw and SmackDown, but I'm not 100% that they watch NXT. This is going to get that cross promotion. This is going to get that boost for NXT to where they're eclipsing Dynamite ratings. Which, granted, they're not going head to head, so it's not a war per se anymore. But they're kind of like neck and neck if you look each week as to which one is on top.
I've heard as much.
And that's frightening when developmental. That's frightening when you consider that developmental is doing better than the competition's A brand. But I feel like there is so much potential for long-term booking here. Correct me if I'm wrong, because it's been a minute since I've watched an episode of Impact with my hectic schedule. Jordynne Grace has an open contract for Against All Odds?
That is correct.
Does that not just scream an NXT competitor trying to come back and either reclaim their title or try to claim the Knockouts title?
I don't think it's too far-fetched considering tonight, if you're watching TNA currently, she's currently taking on former NWA Women's World Champion Allison Kay, defending her Knockouts World Championship.
So I feel like this is the pebble that rolls down the mountain that turns into an avalanche by the time it crashes at the bottom of the hill. I see Jordynne Grace leaving with the title. I see Roxanne coming to Chicago for Against All Odds. I see Roxanne hanging around for the TV tapings the following day.
As they do.
With potentially some of the heel NXT women's roster. I see, just for shits and giggles, a backstage interaction between Ariana Grace and Santino Marella, her father.
Oh, Lord, if that happens.
That has to happen during this.
The father-daughter connection.
Otherwise, again, what the fuck are we doing here? We need Santino to interact with his daughter. I don't care if he comes to the Performance Center to do it. I don't care if it happens during the TV tapings post Against All Odds, but it has to happen.
If it happens, JJ gets all credit.
And I see the end game being Natalya versus Jordynne Grace in Montreal, where her uncle was screwed.
I remember you talking about that verbatim. I got you.
And then you brought up to me, I see you, Arlene. Give me 1 second. Let me cook
you.
Here for a minute, girl. I'll come right back to you.
Yeah, let the
and then I remember you coming to me. I remember you coming to me about this angle they've been building with Giselle Shaw.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking to myself, WrestleMania 2000. Eurocontinental title match. Both belts on the line, one match. Slammiversary, Jordynne Grace versus Giselle Shaw versus Natalya. Jordynne Grace loses both belts, never gets pinned.
She hasn't been pinned yet since winning the Knockouts World Championship from Trinity.
Giselle Shaw ascends to her throne like everyone's been waiting. Natalya reclaims the NXT title. Jordynne Grace doesn't leave this looking weak and rightfully number one contender to either title to continue going. And we've got something that's going to take us all the way through the summer. I am like at the edge of my seat here because I want to see Fallon Henley versus Jordynne Grace. I want to see the returning Wendy Chu, supposed to be back on Tuesday. I want to see Gigi Dolan. I want to see Lash Legend. I want to see Kaylani Jordan. I want to see all these girls get a shot at Jordan. And that doesn't happen without her becoming champion. Does it kind of stutter step some of their pushes? Yeah, sadly. But they're dream matches. True dream matches. Not AEW Superstar versus AEW Superstar for the AEW title at the Forbidden Door.
Now, why would he be talking about that, I wonder?
These are true dream matches. Go ahead, Arlene.
Oh, I was going to say... Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, keep it Jordynne Grace.
I was just going to say, no, correction, JJ. It's supposed to be Santina. Santina won Miss WrestleMania. It should be Santina.
We don't talk about Santina on this podcast. The freaking crap. Continue.
That's all I was gonna say. I just said it should be Santina because she won the first Miss WrestleMania, and that's where she gets her gimmick.
She did, but She did, but it's well established that that's Santino's daughter, so that's why I just want them to interact, and she can even, ask him, "How's Auntie Santina?"
Oh God.
Just kind of name drop it in the
Don't do that.
conversation for
No,
those of
no,
us
no.
that are Captain America. Be like, I understand that reference.
The freaking Spider-Man meme with Grace versus Grace after they met each other backstage. It'd be like Grace versus Grace as Grace does this to Grace. Like, oh God, that'd be the most confusing call ever. And he's talking about freaking NXT's women's division versus Jordynne Grace. You don't think the Knockouts won a piece of that NXT championship? Killer Kelly, Danny Luna, freaking Jody Fret, Zaya Brookside, the Rosemary, whatever the hell she comes back as, whether it's Courtney Rush or some other weird inauguration or whatever the hell she is. Monster Slamovics. Alicia Edwards of the system. There's a lot of potential. I'm just saying. And whatever Michelle Shaw's becoming now because she's resetting herself coming back tonight on the 20th anniversary of TNA Impact. So it's not just the dream matches with NXT women's division that pretty much are a big what if could happen here with Jordynne Grace. It's who the Knockouts may have to take on in NXT to prove their point and why they should face Jordynne Grace for either title. This could be the biggest Knockouts women's wrestling throwdown in the business history if Gail Kim and Shawn Michaels and Ava Raine make this happen with Santina. But again, way further speculation and excitement. Gotta get through Sunday. So sorry, just getting my son out there too. But also, I do agree with you, by the way, JJ. I am going with Jordynne Grace because you don't bring Jordynne Grace to NXT to challenge for the championship unless you're making some shit happen. Okay, now I'm done. And JJ cooked what he needed to do. By the way, good dish. I approve. Arlene, lady, go ahead and give your take here. We'll let these other two gentlemen close it out. So what's your take on this very unique, first time ever encounter, company versus company, NXT Championship on the line?
I feel like this is going to be like, I'm very, very interested in seeing this match. Just the way Jordynne Grace handled Roxanne, like she weighed like a piece of feather. I was like, oh my God, she's going to kill Roxanne and we're never going to see from or hear from her again. Like just the way she just lifted her up like she didn't weigh anything. Just impressed me enough on her own. And that's like saying something. But like to me, I feel like as much as I've been saying that NXT is the best women's championship, and depending on if this is actually the last match, it's going to affect my pick.
True. But it should be.
Yeah. Because if this ends the match, I feel like if based on my pick from last one between Trick and All Ego, and I'm predicting a title change, I feel like there has to be a title retain if this is going to be the final match. And I'm not saying that she's going to beat pinning Jordynne Grace. I'm not saying that. I feel like she's going to cheat to win. Roxanne's going to cheat to win.
Desperate because you can't overcome the power of the Juggernaut.
Exactly. And she says she's going to do whatever it takes to hold on to that title. So I feel like if she feels like she's not able to beat her, she's going to cheat to get there. And I can see like Jordynne Grace, like you said, like if she doesn't win, like what are you doing? Like I feel like, maybe like there will be like if she does get the title, I could see like Jay just says, like I could see someone going to NXT and challenge like for the title at the same time, but maybe this gets people to tune in to TNA more. Like let's say like Jordynne Grace, like if Roxanne does cheat to win, let's say she calls her out, like like the next pay-per-view for TNA, like Roxanne Perez, I challenge you, and she's like, haha, like like you lost, yeah, but you couldn't do it cleanly. How about we actually do it where like we can use stuff, like make it like a hardcore or something, where
Full
like
mayhem.
yeah, exactly. Where it's like she is no longer like there. No matter what, even if she cheats, like she can't get disqualified, kind of thing. Where it's like now she has to fight, and then that's where you get. Because now you're like, no, she's not going to lose it at a TNA. And imagine your disbelief if she does lose it at a TNA. Then you're like, what did I miss? Now you have to tune into TNA. So I feel like that's how you bring in more people. I could see both ways. But I feel like depending on if this is the final match, you kind of have to have the championship retained. That's kind of why I'm going with Roxanne. Now, if this isn't the final one, then I can see Trick retaining and Jordynne Grace winning. If this is the second to the last match,
That's
Jordynne
fair.
Grace. I just don't feel like at the end, like 2 title changes, or even 2 people retaining, someone's going to lose this championship. It depends on who's going to lose it, whether you want Trick Williams to lose it or Roxanne Perez to lose it. Because at the end of the day, there has to be a change. I feel like you can't just end where one heel and one babyface win. I feel like that's not as exciting anymore. So I feel like that's the route they have to go. So depending on if this is the final match, I feel like Roxanne is gonna win, and WWE's been mentioning nonstop about how they're the best. It's like I feel like they're kind of gonna give it to Roxanne in a way, but like I said, like you can't have Jordynne Grace like get pinned. So how else can you get her to where she doesn't look weak? I feel like this is where Roxanne has to cheat to win. So I feel like Roxanne's gonna win if this is gonna be the last match, and then maybe have Jordynne Grace. Like now you have to see like TNA, like on Twitter, you show that TNA, Jordynne Grace calls out Roxanne Perez for a match, and now you have to like see if she accepts it and stuff. So yeah, I see. I feel like in a way like there can't be 2 title changes at
All right.
one, and so yeah, you
right
have one
now, based on what we are doing, because I get to see the gears constantly spinning, the what if,
Exactly.
because we're not sure the booking strategy in the card plays in your predicting. And again, I always allow people to change the predictions up to a particular deadline. And in case you are wondering who's filling out the form, already filled out the form, your predictions are officially final, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Sunday night. Not a minute after. After that, it's click as I prepare for the call and our pre-show antics. So keep that in mind, Arlene. And also, don't overthink. But for right now, I put you down for Roxanne Perez. So you have split the vote here as far as the panel goes. Why he was saying no.
My mind is constantly working. Like I'm trying to think of all the scenarios, and I think that's why
fun. I said it before. I'll say it again. Predictability in professional wrestling is not a bad thing. Damn it. But unpredictability is so much more an exciting thing. When was the last time we had a match like this that was so damn unpredictable that could affect 2 companies at once? Your silence speaks volumes on trying to recall that history. Snapboy approved. All right. Now, because he said no, I'm very curious to hear his position, so you're going to be last. But before I give to Chris, yes, JJ, I see your hand. I acknowledge you.
Would it be when Christian Cage or Kenny Omega won the TNA title?
That might have very well been it, considering Christian Cage's TNA history, but he was signed to AEW. I think you're onto something there, because he also retired that title to only allow focus for the Impact World title, putting away the past to push forward the future and the present. That might be it, and that was also the very first Rampage. I think you hit the nail on the head. But since then, though, again, that was AEW and TNA. This is WWE and TNA. This is a whole different ballgame, and it's with the 2 most respected women's divisions on the Western Front. No lies detected.
And that was AEW taking something for TNA. This could be WWE giving something to TNA.
For the long haul, and we're all for the ride. All right. Well, Chris, good luck, because guess what? It's 50-50 in the points. Dead even. So, Chris, where do you stand on the future of TNA's involvement as far as the knockouts go? And does it involve the Juggernaut holding the NXT Women's Championship? The floor is yours.
Well, what I said earlier in our broadcast, this is the match I'm looking forward to. Well, I am looking forward to this now. This is the match that it's going to be a match made in heaven. This is going to be a match made for dream matches to come about. Everybody, I'm going to tell you, come Monday morning, when this show is done Sunday night, come Monday morning, everybody's going to be talking about, wow, that was a fabulous match between Roxanne Perez and Jordynne Grace. That's going to be the headline on Monday morning.
Accurate.
And
Most likely
personally,
accurate.
with this Forbidden Door, with TNA, WWE, I can't wait for it. I know we've seen it for NXT. I would love for TNA to do it on the main roster. We could get dream matches on the main roster. Heck, we might even get, say his name, Joe Hendry versus LA Knight one day.
Oh my gosh, he makes a song on LA Knight. I'm gonna die. But we're getting too far off of the weeds there, man. Focus on the women here.
But
The third
overall,
time he said his name.
with Jordynne Grace, she has impressed me since the Royal Rumble. When I saw her, I said, "Oh my gosh, she is the second TNA women's superstar to come into a Royal Rumble. The first one was Mickie James. The second one
Hi, Justin.
is now Jordynne Grace. And when I saw last week, she was going to be Roxanne Perez's opponent, I was about saying, oh my gosh. I thought it was going to be like Tatum Paxley. I thought it was going to be Naomi. But when I saw Jordynne Grace, my mind was shocked.
You and the entire wrestling world.
And now we get to this point. We're going to see more of Jordynne Grace. And personally, she's an outsider. She is comfortable in WWE. We have never seen anything like this. An outsider being comfortable in a different wrestling company. That has never been seen before. But I do believe that one day, Jordynne Grace, she will be a full-time WWE superstar, no matter what. As far as this match goes, I'm going to give it to my girl. My girl is Roxanne Perez. I like Roxanne. She's going to retain. And personally, how are they going to protect Jordynne Grace as TNA Knockouts champion to not make her look weak going back to the TNA business? So I think Roxanne is going to cheat. I know tapings for TNA is going to be happening after Against All Odds. So I don't know how long in advance the tapings were if Jordynne Grace was the NXT Women's Champion. So we have to think about that aspect to it.
Well, you're not going to know nothing until Sunday happens. I guarantee you that.
And personally, I feel in a way Roxanne's going to retain. We're going to see more of Jordynne Grace in WWE down the road. And when they do TNA Against All Odds, with Jordynne Grace having an open challenge, I could see maybe Roxanne Perez being down there, or I could see our two superstars, Tatum Paxley, because she was eyeing Jordynne Grace on Tuesday, or I think the logic sense is I think it's going to be Jordynne Grace versus Natalya at Against All Odds next Friday in Columbus, Ohio.
That's an interesting idea. Natalya by the way, Against All Odds is in Chicago.
Okay.
But last time I checked, Chicago's not in Ohio. That's a geography lesson for you folks. But all right, so this is interesting as we get to the final stance here. And again, I also do wonder, though, what do the knockouts think of all this? When you consider Danny Luna and Jody Fret want to get back their TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships against the Systems, Alicia Edwards, and Masha Slamovich. Michelle Shaw coming back to the scene. Jessica Havoc, gone. Rosemary, gone. Zaya Brookside right now with the most momentum going. Killer Kelly is due to return to the Impact Zone. Yay. And there's a lot. And Tasha Steelz will do whatever it takes. Tasha Steelz might have more Latino heat than Lola Vice. How's that for a comment, Walter? So it's one of those things right now where there still is a lot of speculation in both halves. And the Hex is back in TNA. Marty Bell and Allison Kay. Who knows how much longer that's going to go for. Former tag champs and former knockout world champions in their own right. And again, Allison Kay right now is challenging Jordynne Grace tonight on TNA Impact. Again, happy 20th anniversary to TNA Impact. Going to watch that immediately after this because I'm crazy. So we'll have to wait and see. All right, Emmanuel. I see you just eyeing your sister. I saw just the fumes. I can see the gears turning too. You're the final voice. You're the final stance. You're the final prediction to close this thing out before we show everybody a fine adieu. And you're also the tiebreaker. So where do you stand on the future of the NXT Women's Championship? Roxanne Perez or Jordynne Grace?
Jordynne Grace is going to be the new NXT Women's Champion. And the reason why, I was disagreeing with Jordynne, because she said that Jordynne Grace will go back to TNA and then complain about, being cheated. When was the last time a baby face ever whined and complained about a heel cheating?
Cody
Never. Nobody had complained about, you said Cody Rhodes, but Cody Rhodes said that he lost cleanly, even though there was interference, he lost that day, not that night. What else can you say? But there would be no fuel to the TNA versus NXT at all if you have Jordynne Grace losing. What's the one thing we'd be missing from WWE? The one trademark that WWE has been promoting since I was a little kid. Welcome to the WWF, where anything can happen.
I remember that.
And what a way to do this. What was wrong with the invasion with WCW versus WWE? I know there's a lot of things wrong with it. But guess what? Yeah, we lived it. And guess what happened? WCW got buried. They never got off the blocks. They kept getting beat at the beat. We're in a different era, in a different Vince is no longer in charge. Triple H is okay if a TNA star gets over their own talent. Shawn Michaels is okay for a TNA person to go over an NXT star. There's we've been I'm not sure why Arlene and Chris saying Roxanne's going to keep the title. Then what's the point of TNA versus NXT? But then why are we fantasy booking if we're just going to give NXT win after win and win? Why? There'll be no promotion. There'll be no fantasy booking. This needs to happen because then that gives Roxanne more reason why she could go to TNA. Because Roxanne, why would she go to TNA if she won Jordynne Grace? She was not going to respond to it. Roman Reigns went. Cody Rhodes went. Answer the challenge. Why would I waste my time? I'll beat you. So that's why Roxanne needs to lose. Roxanne needs to lose this match. Do the right thing for business. And that's the key word, business.
Best for business. How's that for a three-word phrase, JJ?
Yeah. If TKO wants to make a future for TNA and WWE and make it equal level, this is the way to do it. No more BSing, no more jokes like, oh, we're just going to have the WWE go over anytime we want. No, they will think long term, what makes best for business, what makes money for them. And can you imagine Jordynne Grace versus Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania?
Okay, now he's really going long term there, especially with a bunch of these yahoos going to Las Vegas.
And improve the WWE woman roster drastically. To imagine the matchup that we don't have for TNA versus WWE. WWE has been struggling, and people have been talking about, oh, Becky's going to go to AEW. There's Fred matches right there. But guess what? Becky didn't have Fred matches against Jordynne Grace. I'm not familiar with all the TNA female wrestlers over there. That's my fault.
That's why I named most of them. Yeah. I got you. To your point, she even mentioned if she wasn't going to be involved in WWE, she would want to be a knockout in her book.
Yeah.
Great read, by the way, folks. Go check it out. Continue.
So it makes sense to make the division more better, more funner, and means something that we haven't discussed. I've been saying the WWE main roster women feel lost, disconnected, that we don't care. We know the outcomes to it. But now that we have the TNA knockouts in WWE and NXT, the horizon just widens and widens. And that's why
it happened. Jordynne Grace needs to win.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
See, this is why Emmanuel and me are more relatable to each other. And for once, me and JJ are on the same page. TNA and NXT thinking the same mindset. This is scary. All right, I saw JJ's hand after Arlene. So Arlene, go ahead and give your thought. Then we'll go back to JJ, and then I think we'll close this out unless anyone else has anything to say. What will you say, Arlene?
I was just gonna say it just goes back to what I was saying earlier, and I feel like the fact that they keep saying it, I feel like it's gonna be an egg in their face if Roxanne gets defeated, gets pinned in defeat. Because then why are you saying that you're the best, like women's roster, like in the whole, like and all the companies, just to have your champion, right? When the champion is the one that gets pinned. Now it's like, okay, then. Obviously, you're not number one, so why should I watch you?
Well,
maybe I should focus on TNA.
Right? I mean, exactly. The perspective, Pro Wrestling NOLA and New Japan Pro Wrestling, one competes on the Arc, the other competes on the Cerulean Blue. They're still at odds sense with each other when it comes to the pride they have for themselves and their roster, especially where they work, yet they come together sometimes, even in collaborative combat. So it's one of those things where it hurts Roxanne if she loses, but it doesn't destroy her. If nothing else, it motivates her and it motivates the freaking NXT women to step up to the juggernaut where the knockouts show their superiority. To have somebody surpass you only should push you to be better. And that's how you make the business better. You push each other to go even further. Just trying to avoid injury. I'm just saying. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, like, I get what you're saying, too. It's just, like, I feel like they're just pushing it. And I feel like if you're going to do that, it's like you're just basically putting egg on your face. Because it's like you've been talking about how you're the best division, and then you have another, let's say, second company come and beat you. That I feel like that... Now it's like you look, I don't know. I feel like they just look stupid in that sense because it's like, well, then why? Then don't say it. Wait till she wins, like until Roxanne wins to say you're the best because you beat the best division. Because we all know it's TNA, but you're saying it beforehand. It's like, and let's say Roxanne loses. It's like now you have egg on your face. It's like you've been saying you're the best division, yet your division didn't win. And I feel like. You can't. I don't know. I feel like even though WWE's like in this partnership, it has to be give and take. I feel like if whoever goes to TNA is gonna win from NXT, like the TNA is gonna go over on NXT, whoever goes to over there, and whoever comes to NXT is gonna like from TNA, like whoever the NXT is gonna win, if that makes sense. So it's
Yeah,
like
you want a balance, and that's the
exactly.
type of balance that Gail Kim, Santina Morella, Shawn Michaels, and Ava Raine are going to all have to work together to try and maintain. It's not something that's going to happen instantaneously, but this is a huge, and this is the first step in establishing it. So they got to do it right, and I think the only way you do it right is with Jordynne Grace winning, and then you build off from there, because you have to consider WWE is the biggest. They certainly aren't the greatest. And for a little player to beat the biggest players in the game, to put it in sports terms, it would be like the Dallas Cowboys winning the Super Bowl this year, and you don't even think about Taylor Swift. So
yeah,
again,
I
I see what you're saying. There's a bit of anxiety to all this that I could see in your voice when it comes to the very touch and go nature of what could be a very beautiful ongoing business relationship. And here's the pilot. JJ,
yeah.
what's your thoughts in addition to basically everything that's been said as we close this thing out? I just can't wait for Sunday at this point.
Yeah, like I get where Arlene is coming from here, but for me, and granted, I wasn't really watching back then, but I hearken back to the AEW TNA relationship, and it seemed like AEW reaped all the benefits, and Impact Wrestling TNA suffered greatly during that time. They didn't really get anything here. I think if WWE wants to have a long-term relationship here, especially since both companies are under the Endeavor brand,
Let's keep that in mind, by the
harkening
way,
back
folks.
to your best for business. But especially with that, then you've got to give TNA the first shot. Let them take the title. Then I think you touched on this briefly, Noah, when you were kind of rebuttaling with Arlene. You have whoever shows up at Against All Odds for the Open Challenge take Jordynne's Knockouts title.
Ding, ding.
Then you've got the Knockouts title on NXT and the NXT title on Impact.
What a world.
Then it's just a matter of who can reclaim whose championship, and it's a game of one-upsmanship and chess to see. It's very much the Invasion from 2001, but done properly.
Mm-hmm. This is more than just The Rock getting the big gold belt off Booker T, which I'm sure Booker T has not forgotten.
Yeah, or the Brothers of Destruction being WCW Tag Champions. Like this can really be a huge turning point for the entire industry if it's played out properly.
And this is where you truly get a worlds collide. That means every sense of the word, with NXTNA at the top of the marquee.
And we pointed this out briefly a little bit ago, but Mia Yim, Chelsea Green, Naomi, all former Knockouts champions, correct?
Correct.
So you have them lead the charge, so to speak, going back into things to try to reclaim their company's gold. Nobody can sit here after the amazing series that was had earlier this year and tell me they don't want to see Naomi versus Jordynne Grace at SummerSlam.
I might go live. I would literally love to see that. You kidding me?
Run it back, but on the WWE side of things, whereas before it was on the TNA side of things.
Yeah, when TNA was born.
And the last time we saw both of them in WWE, it was the brief interaction in the Rumble.
Mm-hmm. And that Rumble teased so damn much when it comes to a TNA Knockouts presence in a WWE ring. I'm just saying. Well,
This could be the beginning of it. And then Ricochet for X Division champion.
I mean, again,
Think about it.
give me Myra Reed versus
Tell
Ricochet.
me he wouldn't fit. You know,
Anybody fits.
you've got Mustafa Ali out there doing his thing, wanting legitimate X Division competitors. Here comes Ricochet, the Speed champion.
And he wants Cedric Alexander legitimately, who he and him literally defined 205 Live. Again, this could start so much. We have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
And it doesn't get off the ground if Jordynne Grace doesn't win the title.
As simple as that. You literally destroy anything that the prohibited portal is being built off of if Jordynne Grace loses this Sunday. It doesn't
go
get
from
simpler than
strapping
that.
the rocket to the program to George of the Jungle slamming into the tree.
Yeah, and that tree with no give. He's not going to rocket through that trunk. I understand that reference. Emmanuel, what you got real quick, brother?
Yeah, about to say that's one of the things that we wish CM Punk when he left with the WWE title when he won against John Cena during that match, that we wanted CM Punk to defend the title outside the WWE, but it never did. No. Can you imagine Jordynne Grace defending the NXT Women's Championship on a TNA episode? Like that's money right there. That's a lot of viewership, a lot of money, and it makes you intrigued. Like oh crap!
We're hurting JJ's mind because it speaks for itself. And again, it doesn't become a reality unless Jordynne Grace wins Sunday at NXT BattleGround. This has to be the result that happens to open up truly endless possibilities for women's professional wrestling.
Exactly. So
I can't believe this didn't just come to my head till right now.
What just
Against all odds is where, Noah?
Chicago.
Roxanne Perez is considered the daughter of who?
Oh, shit.
Work with me here.
That'd be one straight edge Second City Saint. You don't think
weirder things have happened? Maybe not him, but what about his wifey escorting her to the ring to try to reclaim the title?
They say never.
You've got Roxanne coming to the ring with AJ Lee.
If AJ Lee shows up, I'm gonna literally lose my shit because I did Crazy Chicks. That's the woman that defined a wrestler, not a diva, that could kick it in Chuck Taylor before Sky Blue was a thing. Anyway, Arlene. We're just gonna keep talking.
And now that he said that, I was like thinking, like, well, what about not? Let's say it's not Roxanne. What if it's Cora Jade?
That's fair. That's fair.
They're both the daughters of Punk, right?
And maybe she can at this point.
And maybe she could say, "I'm gonna do what Roxana couldn't do and defeat you."
Well, here's the thing. You gotta imagine whenever Cora Jade comes back, no matter if Roxanne has title or not, Roxanne's the heel now. Cora has to be the babyface. I would think. Right?
Unless they come together like Voltron and unite under this Daughters of Punk moniker.
And go after the TNA Knockouts for a tag team championships. Take my fucking money. Well, either way, guys.
The Knockouts tag division has been floundering, right?
Well, yeah, unfortunately, Danny Luna and Jody Fred, they're trying to get on the same page, and Lars Frederiksen has his work cut out for him, and Alicia Edwards of the System and Masha Slamovich, they hold the gold hostage. So, yeah. It's just wild to think that what we were talking about, and of all nights, by the way, you realize we're talking about this during 20th anniversary of TNA Impact that's on right now for people to watch for YouTube, TNA Plus, and freaking Access TV. And you guys know I'm going to literally watch it commercial free here on YouTube as soon as we're done speaking. So I think that being said, I'm ready to see the Juggernaut take on Pinkies Up, Allison Kay. So I think we'll let everybody go, be on their way, and conclude with this. Folks, are you excited for what could be the birth of what could be starting off as simply NXT, NA, and could transcend to Worlds Collide, where WWE and TNA both cross the line underneath the same branding, lettering, ring? So much possibility, I believe, in the future of professional wrestling. And it starts with what the women do this Sunday at BattleGround between the Juggernaut Jordynne Grace and the prodigy Roxanne Perez. There is truly no telling what the future holds in store right now, professional wrestling business. I am fully in for it. So place your bets. Go have fun in the fight capital of the world. We hope to see you virtually here along for the ride with us this Sunday when we call the action from the UFC Apex, Las Vegas. It's going to be a hell of a night. Good luck to everybody. Puppy. How cute. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Appreciate your viewership. Hope you enjoyed. Get those predictions in, even if they're only initial thoughts. That way I know they're in. And again, like, share, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, and become a fan today of NXT or TNA. And remember to just enjoy wrestling. Before everybody do, let's go ahead, do some shows and plugs, and then, we'll go do our things. Chris, always a pleasure, man. Good luck. This show is going to make or break you in the league, I think. Anything you want to plug up about, where can people find you?
Well, I want to thank everybody for allowing me to be on tonight. Follow me on my X, CRots24. My Insta is CMROTZ_6472. My Facebook is Christopher Rots. I had an amazing time here tonight. The next time you'll be getting us on Simply Predicting is next week for Against All Odds and Clash at the Castle. And then also this month, you'll get AEW Forbidden Door and meaning about AEW. Next Saturday, I will be going to my first non-WWE show. I will be going to AEW Collision downtown
nice.
Youngstown, Ohio, next Saturday night. So I'm getting excited for that. I want to thank everybody for allowing me to be on tonight, and enjoy NXT Battlegrounds this Sunday live on Peacock. And just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. Say yeah to NoDQ.com. Good night, everybody.
Take care, brother, and enjoy that collision. We'll see you next week, I'm sure, for Simply Predicting at TNA against all odds. And it's one of those things where taping schedule is what it is, but he's still going to see some incredible action live from AEW and Ring of Honor. Enjoy the rest of my friend, and good luck. I know you got a busy night ahead of you with work tomorrow, too. Again, I always appreciate your dedication, but remember to always protect your mentality. Get your sleep, too. All right. Well, Arlene, my dog's going crazy. I don't even know what's going on with her, little diva. Arlene, it's always a pleasure. I love, again, your extensive mind, the big what-ifs, the this or that in booking. Always a pleasure to engage and chat with you. Again, don't be too tough on your brother. And that being said, anything you want to plug and promote?
No, not at the moment. I'm just like, this is why I'm number one on top of my brother. Because this is my brain working on what scenarios it can go and where the storyline goes, and that's why I've been successful so far. Not to toot my own horn, but
it only takes one show to make or break
exactly.
You, so.
And I feel like this is going to be the show.
Right before the fall. Be careful.
Exactly. So I'm just curious to see what's going to go around. I'm going to still be thinking before I turn it in. I'm excited, and can't wait to see what happens, because this is going to be an interesting pay-per-view.
Absolutely. Always appreciate you. Emmanuel, anything further to add, or any backlash shoot fought against your sis?
Yes, my mini promotion is watch the karaoke this Saturday. And if WWE does their play their cards right, like AEW Forbidden Door seems like an afterthought, having all AEW talent, most of the promotion go over their talent. So hopefully WWE does the right and smart choice. Let it be 50-50. Make logic out of this and be bigger than Forbidden Door. of AEW.
Yeah, I think
That's-
there's a huge possibility for that.
If you want to torture Noah, $25.
Stop it! Damn it! Stop it! People got bare faces to do it. It's the damn summer. My sister's in Florida for Pete's sake, relaxing on the beach. Y'all can go do that and then go to Las Vegas and go gamble your money on the slots before heading to the UFC Apex. I'm sure they still got tickets. Use your money for something more resourceful, okay? Get an air conditioner ahead of the summer. They're freaking trying to cause people to freaking buy my shame. What the hell? Why does my dignity have a price on this freaking platform when it comes to you guys and freaking karaoke nights? Can you give me a break? The Superman doesn't sing. Superman does commentary. Damn it. And I got called Dominion after that anyway. I got to deal with House of Torture. That's enough torture for me.
Yeah. But no Facebook, Emmanuel Dominguez. You see two Facebook accounts. One with my business, like my Sunday best, and then my casual one. But my main account is the business one, like my church post. But yeah,
just like go follow the reliable Walter Cruz of his business accounts and please support his product. That being said, thank you, man. Always appreciate you. Again, JJ, you may not be here Sunday, but we know you'll be here in spirit. I know you're going to enjoy this show. And honestly, maybe this is the first time we do a simple tick, considering how big of a milestone this is. If we're not going to call the show, we can sure as hell talk about it. But we'll see what time brings. That being said, man, always a pleasure. Where do you want to plug and promote?
Well, of course, you can find me on the socials at all those things there. Instagram, The Renegade JJ Williams. Twitter, ROWJJ Williams. YouTube, Casa D18 Studios. Much like our good buddy Emmanuel just said, make sure you tune in Saturday, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 Eastern, for open mic night 80s karaoke.
Damn it.
We will be tormenting Noah. He will be entering a land of confusion like the smooth criminal that he is. Will he be dancing in the dark, dancing with himself, or walking like an Egyptian? You'll just have to tune in and see. But whatever you do out there, for the panel and the viewers at home, don't you forget about me.
The things I do for friends. Well, appreciate you, JJ, and appreciate all of you for tuning in. Looking at the 15 of you now that's put in your predictions. Looks like we swayed somebody's judgment that just put it in. It is now slightly in favor of Jordynne Grace. 53% versus 47% for Roxanne. Again, though, all these matches so partisan. Good luck to all the incredible young rising and some established talent that will be taking center stage in the UFC Apex at NXT BattleGround Las Vegas. Make it your own. Make history. Good luck to all you fine folks. And good luck to all the predictors, too. Couple of comments here. I see Go Jordynne, and I see Let's Freaking Go. I see a lot of title changes. Clearly, somebody else has a similar mindset. Yeah, I wonder who. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, if you want to engage with me, it's simple, for I am nothing more but a simple man and a lifelong fan of professional wrestling. Damn it! So follow me if you choose on the Twitter and on YouTube and Foster1916 for all things wrestling. Shout out, of course, to the entire ATW family on the Twitter and our social media platforms. Check out the playlist, the entire Interview Impromptu podcast that me and my crew do once in a blue moon, out of nowhere. A lot of crazy funs, a lot of crazy conversations, and so much more. And please follow my friend across the pond, America. Jay continues to prove that Jay's worth more than gold. Cheers to you, pal. I hope everything's going well. Again, the community tab is where you can go to give your own predictions. I'll put the forms there, as well as give your own simple assessments. All the biggest shows we cover here in and out of WWE, NXT, Ring of Honor, AEW, sometimes Japan Pro Wrestling, and of course, TNA. And the Twitter is primarily where I put all the prediction leader boards in full because of YouTube's limited functionality. So at the end of the day, just know that Eric's going to give it to you. So that being said, until next time, as I always like to leave you, there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans, no opinions, with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too. Treasure your families, no matter how much sometimes they aggravate you, virtually or in reality. And just enjoy life. And truly, if Sunday doesn't give you some sort of excitement, what are you doing in the fandom? Just enjoy wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in once again to another exhilarating, wildly fantasy booking edition this time of City Predicting. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend, hit the bell if the video goes live on demand on either of these YouTube channels. Hit the subscribe button. Help us keep growing our user communities. I share our passion, our creative content, our overall outlooks on the wrestling business. They're not leaving anytime soon. Support my friend. He monetized. Happy to support him. Show some love. Give him a super sticker. Give him a super chat. Castlane Studios. It truly is as simple as that. But until next time, again, this weekend, a lot of stuff about to go down. Karaoke Madness, Dominion Insanity, and then we head to Las Vegas for NXT BattleGround before we head into next week, where we go across the pond to Scotland for Clash of the Castle and Against All Odds, as well as a first-time ever coverage and look at Mission Pro, the all-women's promotion down in Texas, led by the man Thunder Rosa, courtesy of Title Match Network. So stay tuned for more on that. There is so much ahead for the Gemini Brothers and me when it comes to live watch-along events. We've only just begun as we just crossed the halfway point of the year. But till then, I think now we've talked long enough for all of you. I'm sure everyone's got some Z's they want to get to. I'm going to go watch TNA Wrestling and celebrate the 20th anniversary of TNA Impact as well. So I bid you now officially a fine adieu. So make a positive impact in life. Thank you for tuning in tonight to City Predicting. And have a good night, folks. For this has been NXT NA. See you next time.